Hey, what up, everybody? This y'all shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble morning. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. Listen, man. Hey, these cases is crazy today. Yo, let's talk about it, right? We're gonna be going beyond the fame with the Menendez brothers, right? Vince McMahon and Ray.J. Yo, let me welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life. Brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, yo. Shout out to Rag and Bone and Pink, yo. Beautiful, beautiful song, yo, man. I could really relate to these songs. And you know what's crazy, right? Listen, the song Anywhere From Here from Rag and Bone and Pink, I love it. Especially with the topics we're going to be dealing today, yo. I just wanted to put that music right there. Um, Skin. I'm Only Human. I was talking about his other song by accident. I'm Only Human is another great song by Rag and Bone. Like, listen, man, these are gonna be some touchy topics, right? The Vince McMahon case and the Menendez brothers, right? Last weekend we was talking about the Menendez brothers, right? We did a review and reaction to the Menendez brother. Um, I had to, delete the first video, but I was able to edit so where the video was muted, but y'all was still able to hear my commentary, right? So shout out to everybody that showed up to the panel that day, right? Rocked out with a shorty, had conversations, respectful conversations, right? Before we get started with all these videos, right? Let me tell y'all something, right? Any type of abuse, right? Whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, like somebody hurting, somebody, beating on somebody, right? Mental abuse is bad, right? It traumatizes a kid, right? And I can honestly sit here and tell y'all, listen, I know that a lot of listen. I'm gonna say this right. The Menendez brothers are guilty, yes, because they sat here and they killed their parents, right? Yes, they killed their parents, so they're guilty of committing murder, right? Now, it's crazy because I hear so many stories, right? We're gonna react to some of these videos, right? I feel as though they should be free, right? And if they do come home, I feel as though it should be some mandatory counseling, right? Um, Allegedly they're coming home to their wives, right? We're gonna say allegedly. Um, we have to say allegedly. They're coming home to their wives, right? They've been in there for a long, long time. And I feel as though that this was a case, most say it's not self-defense because at the moment that they killed their parents, right? Their parents wasn't harming them. That's what people say, right? But we wasn't there. We don't know what was going on. These boys wasn't just going through right sexual abuse. They were going through physical abuse, mental abuse. There's so many things, right? So we know that they got PTSD. At the end of the day, PTSD is not something that easy to deal with, right? I'm somebody that suffers from it, right? Let me see. That's why I say I can really relate to the Menendez brothers, right? I have a past similar to the Menendez brothers, right? And it took years of therapy to, for y'all to see this person right here talking in front of y'all, for y'all to, see a warrior, a surviving warrior, not a victim. Because at one point, I was a victim. At one point, I felt like the Menendez brothers, I wanted to do what the Menendez brothers did, to their abuser. But I had a lot of fear put in me, right? They had the same thing. Crazy thing is, right? They reacted to their fear, right? What makes some people, react to that fear the way that the Menendez brothers did, and what make others react to their fear the way that I did? Because, right, um, shit, if I would have went by my thoughts and I would have, oofed my abuser when he was doing the things that he was doing to me, I wouldn't be here today, right? Shit, listen, when I was young, I was suicidal. What's crazy is, right, I wasn't a danger towards others. I was a danger towards myself. The Menendez brothers, could they have been a danger to others? I feel as though that they was probably just a danger to their parents, because and probably themselves. How many like we're gonna see the trials, we're gonna see the interview, right? We're gonna see one interview. The interview we're gonna be watching in a minute is gonna be the interview with Barbara Walters, right? And then we're gonna be getting into the trials and stuff like that little by little. So every weekend we're gonna be on here, right? Like a shorty said, we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be getting into these sex crimes, these, you know, regular crimes, and much more interviews. So let's do it. Let's do it. Um, it's heartbreaking to hear what's happened to the Menendez brothers, right? And to see how the system and the people around them have failed them. And people say, and people, it's crazy when people talk, they make it seem so easy. Oh, they could have ran away. They could have did this. There were so many options. Y'all saying, oh, one was 21, one was 18. Yo, if y'all was to hear my story, y'all don't understand. What's crazy is, right, I didn't sit here and hurt my abuser, but when the ones that loved me, right, like for example, may he rest in peace, right, the father of my first two kids, when he found out the story, right, because in the beginning he didn't know, but when he found out the story, right, and then he seen who this person was, he almost, when I'm telling you, he almost lost his freedom. He almost lost his freedom. So there were people around me that wanted to do something. You see where I'm coming from? But at the end of the day, it's like they looked at me. If they go to jail, we wanted to do it the right way, right? A lot of people wanted to do it the right way with my situation, but my accuser is walking free. My accuser is walking free. So it's kind of like, damn, the justice system is a son of a bitch. I'm sorry to say it to y'all, right? I had a judge, I had lawyers that believed me, but all they could do was give me order of protection until I hit the age of 21, right? So once again, right, they could have, yeah, they had y'all, they could have ran away, they could have did this, right? But what is sitting here, who is sitting here telling y'all that, that they didn't have people watching? How do y'all know that they really had freedom with the type of parents that they had? You see where I'm coming from? Plus, the parents had them sheltered. When you're a sheltered kid, people, listen, I don't know what's wrong with people. See, I know, see, there's street kids, right? And there's sidewalk kids, right? I'm gonna break it down for y'all, right? I was a sidewalk chick. I mean, a sidewalk kid. I wasn't really into, in the streets until I became a teenager. Until I started doing really what I wanted to do when I started lashing out and much more. So, man, the Menendez brothers were, it's crazy, right? Because they started lashing out as teenagers too. Mm. So when people come here and they start judging them and saying they could have did this, they could have did that, did y'all take a minute and put yourselves in their shoes? Did y'all walk them all in their shoes to see if it was even possible with everything that y'all have heard, the evidence that's put out there, to see if it's even possible that they could have ran away or they could have did something else besides did what they did? Because I'm gonna sit here and be honest, with them living the life that they lived in their minds for a while, I I think that I feel as though that they felt that their only way out was getting rid of the ones that was hurting them and stopping them from leaving. See where I'm coming from? Like their story is crazy, right? We're also going to get into the Vince McMahon, right? The rise and downfall of Vince McMahon. I have to choose my videos wisely because some videos on here they will strike me for them. I don't know why, but man, I'm learning as I go. But we got a couple videos we're gonna react to. Blessings, Young Riaz. How you doing this morning? Blessings. We're gonna react to the Vince McMahon today too. And Brandy, man, Brandy, where you at? Come get your brother, yo. Brandy's been quiet. I think Brandy really wants to stay out the spotlight, but Ray.J is really, where you at, boy? Ray.J is out here really crying for attention. Really, really crying for attention. So we're gonna get to a video where I think Ray.J, we all been thinking it. We've all been thinking it. We've seen how Ray.J has been lashing out here. I think Ray.J has been trying to come out the closet. So I feel as though he was trying to come out the closet to Nicki Minaj, right? And Nicki Minaj just told him, hurry up and come out the closet. But when we get to that, when we do the review and reaction to that video, I would love to hear which, your opinions on the Ray.J situation. Ray.J is getting out of pocket. I mean, I don't know what y'all thinking, how y'all feel about that topic and that situation. But let's get this podcast started. Once again, let me welcome everybody to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About. Let me start that over again, my bad. The Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, right? And first video we're going to be reviewing and reacting to is going to be the Menendez Brothers once again. And they had an interview with Barbara Walters back in June 28, 1996. So this is the 30-minute video. We might do the whole video. We might just, play half of it and leave part 2 for next weekend. But let's see how this works out, all right? Ooh. All right. Making sure that y'all can see that. And blessings to everybody that's watching, or blessings to anybody that comes into the chat. Before we get started, please, everybody, be respectful to the chat, be respectful to the mods, be respectful to the host. Any guest that wants to come up on panel, please be respectful. I don't mind, the jokes and people goofing around, but the disrespect, that's not tolerated here. See, my moderators may not be able to ban y'all, but I will ban y'all. Y'all more than welcome to, watch the show, but y'all will not be allowed to chat. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be having disrespectful conversations up in this joint. So let's get the video started, y'all.
The infamous brothers, the savagery of their crime, the murders of both their mother and father seem beyond comprehension. Tonight, for the very first time out of court, you will hear their story. Tonight, watching our interview, you can reach your own verdict about them. We begin with the crime itself. A hot August night in 1989, the Beverly Hills mansion of entertainment executive Jose Menendez. He and his wife Kitty are watching television in the family room. Suddenly, a brutal volley of shotgun fire. Jose Menendez is killed by a close-in shot to the head. He has 5 other shotgun wounds. Kitty Menendez's body is riddled with shotgun pellets.
She had 10 wounds on her. She was getting black.
Damn. So they put 6 shotgun bullets into their dad, and then they really shot their mama. Damn. See, what's crazy is, right, like I told y'all, I could relate to the Menendez brothers because it's crazy, right? Because when they felt like they needed to come to her, they needed her protection, they needed somebody, to understand them, she betrayed them. And you know how much it hurts to be betrayed by your mother? You see where I'm coming from? Like, I could really relate to that. So, I mean, they could have built a bond afterwards because, me and my mom worked our issues later on. But I know how it feels. You sitting here defending the abuser, right? And it was crazy is, right, I wrote a letter to my mom one day. And I just wanted her to understand where I was coming from. And I didn't just write this for me. I wrote this for any other, person out there. Like, we don't got to see ourselves as victims, right? That pain that we feel deep down inside, we have to turn that into some type of motivation. I remember the first time I made my mama a promise. I was so young, fucked up in the head, had to toughen up. Even though that was a promise I knew I could never keep. Just peep, cause this is deep. Mama, I try to reach. Why you try to breathe? You knew he was nothing but a leaf. He was just like Adam. But instead of the apple, he grabbed the fruit of your leaves, and to him they tasted like peaches. That's when I knew that promises were meant to be broken if they don't come from the heart. Damn, that's fucked up, mama. You put your child in the middle of your problems. You put your whole world on your child's shoulder. Not once thinking that in the future she'll have her own burdens. She screamed, mama, please, while she begged on her knees. Let my protector come back into my life with her wrist sliced in the air, God, please. As time passed by, she learned what a curse and a blessing was, and now she is blessed to be. This message is not. And that's some real shit. You know how much it hurts for you to come to the person that is supposed to protect you, is supposed to listen to you, is supposed to defend you, and this person turns on you. This person stabs you with so many knives on your back. You see, as a kid, you can't comprehend that. And when you're growing up, you're trying to understand that. And as you're trying to understand that, most kids lash out. And they lash out in ways that people cannot understand. They do things that people don't understand. These, as kids, you don't even understand why you're doing these things. You're just doing it. You're screaming for help from the top of your lungs and no one's listening. So the less they listen, the more shout out things you do. Maybe in one of these shout out things, they'll listen. They'll hear what they'll hear what we gotta say. You see where I'm coming from? Like, man, yo, it be crazy. Like, I get where people coming from, people that have not been through something like this. But in order for you to understand, really understand, you would have to walk a mile in someone's shoes. You see where I'm coming from? And this is something that I don't wish on nobody, right? This is something that is hard to overcome. It takes years of therapy to overcome something like this. And people think that medication, and no, in reality, medication, right? And I'm not saying, because listen, in reality, some of us that they give you medication, you become, you use medication as a way to numb it too. So it's a hard topic. I keep telling y'all, like, I'm trying not to go so deep into my life, but my story's already out there. So hey, like me, for example, I started like taking the Xannies they were prescribing me, drinking liquor, smoking weed, doing all this crazy shit outside, not giving a fuck. You see where I'm coming from? Like, they would give me money. Hey, fuck it. You trying to buy me? I would take that shit and just go. This is not what I wanted. And just spend it on whatever. There was a point in time where I was just giving it out. Because I didn't want that. What I wanted was my mother's attention, her to listen. So I could tell, like I tell a lot of people, I could really understand and relate where the Menendez brothers are coming from if they really went through this type of abuse. And they went through an abuse worse than mine. Their abuse is way, way worse. And what's crazy is they're boys. Especially around that time, they didn't really get heard. Nobody really listened to them. It wasn't possible for a boy to get abused. And if they did, they were considered, people that was hopping on rainbows. Like, we got to watch what we do when we say out here, because you never know, right, how you could affect somebody. I think that physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, any type of abuse like that, people should not make fun of it at all. But what's crazy is what y'all don't understand, that some of these people, right, numbing their pain, they end up becoming addicts and worse.
Blasted all over that room.
I tell my parents. Pardon me? Were they shot? Yes. They were shot? Yes.
The voice of Lyle Menendez, then 21 years old, who tells police that he and his brother Eric, then 18, discovered the bodies as they returned home from a movie. Lyle and Eric Menendez lied successfully for months, but if their crime was a horror movie, their undoing was the stuff of soap opera. Eric, in torment, confessed his crime to his therapist, Dr. Jerome Oziel. Lyle then also admitted to the murders. Their confession was overheard by Oziel's mistress, Judalon Smith, and she went to the police. Lyle was arrested in California. Eric, who had been traveling overseas, voluntarily flew home to surrender. 3 years later, the Menendez brothers went on trial for their lives.
Yo, that is crazy. Like, even your own therapist had a mistress. That conversation was not supposed to leave the room, but what's crazy? The therapist was supposed to tell somebody what they did. I'm not going to sit here and lie. That therapist was obligated by law, because of the confession that they made, to say something. For real, for real. Because now they've either become a danger to themselves or a danger to somebody else. And they already became a danger to somebody else. I'm just, letting y'all a little something that maybe some people didn't know. And if you knew, hey, listen, hey, kudos.
I was just firing as I went into the room. I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
My parents.
And I remember firing directly at him.
You reloaded? Is that yes?
Yes.
And what did you do after you reloaded?
I ran around and shot my mom.
This is the woman who gave birth to them. This is what they did to their mother.
The jury heard tapes
Oh,
of
wow.
the brothers'
They had
confession
the
to Dr.
papers in there?
Oziel.
I ain't rewinding it. You know how YouTube is.
When their turn came, Eric and Lyle Menendez told a rapt courtroom that the murder of their parents was an act of self-defense. They said they were in fear of their lives from a controlling father who had been sexually abusing them.
They raped me.
Did you cry?
Yes.
Did you bleed?
Yes.
Were you scared?
Very.
Lyle said his abuse stopped when he was 8, but that he didn't know until just before the murders that Eric was being molested too.
What do you believe was the originating cause of you and your brother ultimately winding up shooting your parents?
Me telling
You telling what?
Lyle that
You telling Lyle what? Was it you telling Lyle about something that was happening?
my dad had been molesting me.
The brother
Do y'all know how hard it is for a boy to actually confess this, to admit this? And I'm telling y'all because when I was going to therapy, right, I was in a group therapy and they had, it was a mixture of us boys and girls, and we had to tell our stories, right? And the therapist, the counselor that was in the room, would sit here and give us advice, but, we would talk to each other and also give each other advice. The boys really, it took them longer than the girls to actually talk about what happened to them. And this is what I'm saying, that like from experience, from seeing a lot of, situations like this happen, I could honestly sit here and say the men have it harder than the women, right? Like, as crazy as it sounds, people will be like, oh, but you're a woman, you've been through this. Yes, I have. And I could honestly say that the men that go through this have it harder than the women. They can't even come out in public without being made fun of. Flip the scripts, right? A woman talks about it. We get all types of, hands to, lending hands to help, to do this, to do that, to talk, to give advice, funds, organizations, everything. I could admit that as a woman. But our men, even though there's services and programs out there, it's like once they speak on their story, people want to sit here and make fun of it. Like, this shit is not funny at all. Like, it's certain things in life that we have to sit here and really start taking serious and bringing awareness to. But people want to make it, funny in games or turn it into a joke. This is not a joke. This is somebody's life. Imagine if it happened to you. Imagine if it happened to your child. And I'm not saying that it's happening to any of y'all. All right. I'm just saying, put yourselves in somebody's shoes. All right.
brother's testimony was compelling and effective. Relatives testified on their behalf about incidents in which their father treated the sons harshly, though none of them could actually confirm the allegations of sexual abuse. The jurors could not decide between verdicts of murder and manslaughter.
I find that the jury is hopelessly deadlocked, and the court declares a mistrial.
In August of 1995, now 6 years after their parents' murders, the Menendez brothers went on trial again. This time, there were no video cameras. Eric testified, but Lyle chose not to. Judge Stanley Weisberg again presided, but in a major blow for them, limited the brothers' claims to self-defense. There were far fewer grounds this time for a possible verdict of manslaughter. The jury deliberated for less than 4 days. The verdict? Lyle and Eric Menendez, both guilty of first-degree murder. The jury spent 3 more days deciding between life and death. The verdict here was life, in prison with no parole.
Oh, wow.
The Menendez brothers have spent more than 6 years in this building, the Los Angeles County Jail. Eric lives in the identical cell next to this one. It measures 7.5 by 9 feet. Lyle's cell in another wing of the jail is slightly smaller. Both brothers are segregated from the general population. Each of the brothers separately is allowed up to 3 hours of exercise a week on the jail's roof. Eric and Lyle Menendez will be moved to state prison, perhaps even to separate prisons, this summer. Our interview took place in the jail's administrative wing, some distance from their cells. You may find Eric and Lyle Menendez to be cunning and manipulative, as their second jury seems to have, pronouncing them guilty of first-degree murder. Or, like many of the jurors at their first trial, you may decide that they are credible and that their story strikes a sympathetic chord. That is...
And that's what's crazy, right? They did so many crazy things, right, that could have probably discredited them, right? I wasn't there. I was young when this happened, what's crazy is, right, as I was growing up, the OJ Simpson was, becoming real famous. I guess this was fading away. The Menudo case was around the time the OJ Simpson case was happening, but I didn't know about the Menendez brothers. And what's crazy is, even though with the Menudo members coming out and accusing the Menendez brothers' father of this, that should have been more reason for them to go back and reopen this case and, do their research and, figure out if they was telling the truth or not. Like, this case, right? I feel as though the whole system, a lot of people around these kids really failed them when they were kids, for real, for real. And the family members that noticed, right, what was going on, and this the problem, right? Back then, a lot of people was, they kept a lot of shit hushed. I don't know if it was out of embarrassment. I could sit here and give you a lot of theories of why they probably did this, right? My biggest guess is because I felt a lot of them was probably embarrassed. And then it's crazy, right? Even right? I thought it odd that, right? How does your mother protect your abuser, right? How do you explain what's happening to you to other people to get them to understand you when you try to explain it so many times, right? And so many people know about it, but nothing gets done. It's people that, some of us that go through this, right, grow up thinking that this is something normal. Especially when you got family members to sit here and condone and hide this shit. And what I mean by condone is they keep it on the low. Why not do something? I know this is a touchy subject, right? But I talk about the subjects that people really don't want to touch on. These are subjects that really do need to be talked about. These are, topics that we need to bring awareness on, because it's happening. It's happening all around us. This is why, they may call, some people may call me an overprotective parent, but at the end of the day, I'm a detective with my kids. I'm an officer with my kids. I'm a counselor with my kids. Like, I'm grateful, I'm blessed, right? That my kids come to me and they tell me everything. And that's given me, how can I say, the power to sit here and help them with a lot of situations. Like, I'm not saying that my kids are perfect, right? Because they bad as shit, just like the normal kid out here. They bad as shit, they hard-headed. Sometimes they don't listen when they don't get their way, they'll get a temper tantrum here and there, right? But that's not all the time. But one thing I can sit here and tell you is, right, I don't sugarcoat things to my kids. When they got questions, I answer those questions. We sit down, listen, if we have to Google, we have to pull out the dictionary, we do it. Like, we really have these conversations. I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. A 13-year-old, a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old right here with me right now. My 18-year-old is on his own right now. Like, as crazy as it seems, like, yeah, like a lot of parents don't want to be touching these subjects, having these conversations with these kids. But at the end of the day, we have to, because it's not just a stranger that might sit here and do this to your child. Believe it or not, sometimes it be the closest ones to you. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. But it's unfortunate, right, when it's the one that's supposed to sit here and protect you. Who do you go to? Who do you turn to when both the people that are supposed to be protecting you are hurting you and are putting fear in you so you don't talk? Let's be real. Like, people make it seem like this is something so easy. Oh, they could have ran away. They could have spoke up. Yeah. How? When your kid's growing up in fear, it's not that easy. What's crazy, right? You know what helped me get out over the fear that I had? It took people around me. It took people that really cared to help me overcome that fear, get out that shell and speak up. Fear could do a lot of things with, to people. What's crazy is, that's why I say, never will I ever give another the power to take over minds. Never. People say it's so easy. The Menendez brothers could have, the father used grape. Okay, let's be real, man. The father used grape to install fear in these kids. And the mother sat there and condoned it and did the same thing.
Perhaps for you to determine. My job was to ask the questions, beginning with this one. What went through your minds when you heard that verdict? First degree murder, guilty.
That I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison without any possibility of ever getting released. And you're devastated. I was devastated.
Could have been death. Did you think that?
I was terrified that they would give either one of us death, and that's scary.
It's important to you to stay together when you get moved to the state prison?
Very important. That is what's gotten us through these 6 years and through our life. The family that Eric and I grew up in, we had to be there for each other throughout, and it really created a bond that gets us through very rough periods.
See, I don't think that they thought that they was going to be separated at any time, right? So the fear of being separated didn't stop them from doing it because they didn't think that they was going to be separated. Especially when they got locked up and they was in jail. They was together for a while. So what's crazy is, right, if they would have even had the thought or the idea of like, damn, if I do this, will we see each other again? Will we be there for each other? Will we be able to protect each other? They didn't. I think they just really reacted out of anger. Like, they didn't take the time to think. People think that they took. I don't think they did. I just think they just reacted. Like, they just reacted. Lyle heard that, Eric was still going through this, right? That now he realizes, oh, wow, this is why they haven't been doing, nothing to me, because they've been taking it out on you. Like, they make him do nothing to him. The father wasn't touching him. Like, he thought, they was scot-free, everything was okay. So I feel as though that him probably, all the thoughts went through his head. Everything ran through his head. What happened when they was a kid. I mean, I could sit here and say, because like, damn, I could understand. I could sit here and explain why they didn't sit here, right away say why, they did what they did and what was happening. And you got to realize it and take into consideration they were also boys around this time. For a while, they were saying that Eric was gay. So blessings, Jamaican Shore Fishing. Blessings. How you doing this morning? Yo, make sure y'all go check out Jamaican Shore Fishing, yo. He has great lives, yo. Like, y'all gotta go watch him. I love watching fishing channels, yo. He be having a great one. I'm glad Miss Genesis 1 introduced me to him, yo. Shout out to Miss Genesis 1. I haven't seen her in a while. But shout out to Miss Genesis 1, yo. Like, yo, I am so glad because, like, I get to see him do different things over there in Jamaica. Like, it is really beautiful. The places he be at and the things he be doing over there is beautiful. Make sure y'all go check him out, yo. But back on topic, y'all. Right? It's crazy that I'm not trying to make excuses for what they did, but I'm trying to let y'all know why they did it. There's no excuses. They did what they did. Right? You can't take back the hands of time. But at the end of the day, like, people think that they sat here, they was thinking. I don't think they were thinking it. And if they planned it, they was planning it out of the heat of the moment. Like, I need this to end. How do we make it end? They didn't know how to put an end to it. And when you're sheltered your whole life, it's like, when you see this whole new world, it's like, and I get it, they people will be like, oh, they went around the world. They was doing. Yeah, well, who? Their parents. If you peep and you listen to all the stories, everywhere they went, their parents was there. Everywhere. I mean, I guess people are hearing, but they're not listening.
Some people might say, why should we put them together? I mean, look what they did. They should be punished as much as possible. Let's separate them. What do you say to that? People will say that, some.
There's nothing to say to that. What we did, it was awful, and I wish I could go back. We will spend the rest of our life in prison, but if we're not put in the same prison, there's a good probability I will never see him again, and that I some things that you cannot take, and there's some things that you can endure. With everything taken away, it'd be the last, it's the last thing you can take.
Do you think the media has portrayed you fairly? Can you tell?
I don't know if anyone can be portrayed fairly in the media, who they are.
Well, let me say it. There are people, a great number of people, who think that you two are spoiled brats, that you are evil, that you are monsters. What do you say to them?
That's not who I am, but I can't defend that. Because I came from a family of wealth, it doesn't make me spoiled.
I would be surprised if anybody that was present at the trial and saw the whole thing rather than snippets on the news would feel that.
A jury found you both guilty.
Right, but I don't think you aren't guilty because they found you spoiled.
Or evil.
Or evil.
I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who killed your parents.
Oh, wow.
And you still say you're a normal kid?
Well, I didn't have normal experiences, but I am. I did that, and there's not a day that...
Yo, why was she that? Yo, I'm telling you, man. Like, why was she that fucking disrespectful? Like, she was so rude. She wasn't disrespectful. She was rude. She was rude. Like, really though? You're a normal kid that killed your parents. Well, bitch, he didn't live normal experiences. He didn't have a normal life like a normal kid. I know what that's like. I could understand that. I just had people around me that was trying to help me get out. He didn't. That's why when people hear me talking, I say, I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. Because I've been able to do and accomplish things that others haven't in my situation. And I feel as though like, yo, they need to be free. Let them receive the right type of counseling. Like, this is too much. Like, yo, shout out to those people that have not been to through this type of trauma, right? And can understand. And can really understand why these men, these young men at that time reacted the way they did. Once again, I keep telling people, I don't think that they sat here and thought it through. They didn't. Once Eric told Lyle what was happening, what the dad told him, I think Lyle just boom, 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 just started reacting. And could it be planning? Could it be premeditated? I don't know. We got to get a therapist or a counselor. You know what? Fuck the therapist. Fuck the counselor. I want a psychologist. For real, for real. That's who I would love on my panel to talk about this. Because, like, it's obvious. You could see it, man. These headphones got my ears sweaty as shit. Like, these kids didn't have a normal
think about
life.
What happened and wish that I could take that moment back or change what happened. But
You can't turn back the hands of times, Bo.
It's hard to live with that.
Do you feel remorse?
Tremendous remorse. And I think...
There's tremendous pain. I mean, from the second that I got back to the house after the shootings, I saw what happened and I said, this is wrong. This is awful. How could this have happened? I couldn't accept it.
You couldn't accept it, but you called the police. You pretended that you hadn't done it.
They didn't know what to do.
You cried. You went off on a spending spree. I mean, we all read about it. You bought Rolexes, you bought cars, you didn't say, oh my God, what have I done, and turn yourself in.
Well, that's not really what
Well, I sort of stuck it all together, but.
Yeah, you did a good job at it. We got back to the house, the police were there, and it was a matter of telling him you did it or just saying, I don't know who did it. And that's what we did. And if I could go back, perhaps I'd say I did it.
And part of that started from the fact that we waited afterwards and the police did not come. And in that time that we waited and waited, we did make a bad decision to not have to.
We expected the police to be there. I mean,
You expected the police to come there and arrest you.
They were young, stupid, and ignorant. Probably watching too many movies, thinking that they could pull off something like that. Like, listen, man, you gotta think like a teenager, for real, for real. And some of these teenagers be shot out thinking that they could pull off what they see in these movies, for real, for real. And in their head, in their imagination, in their fairy tale world, they thought they could pull this off. And nobody will, but then it's like everybody on top of them, their guilt, their conscience, everything all at once. And what's crazy, I feel as though that woman lawyer is the one that really got them to open up. See, it's how you talk to them. That one person found a way to sit down with them and get through to them. She didn't see past them. She saw through them. She saw what they was what they was feeling, and she took the time to get the story out of them. Probably everybody else was doing it in a fucked up way. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And in certain situations like this, but then at the end of the day, nobody knew that these boys were getting molested. That was a secret that they was holding in deep down.
Shots in the middle of Beverly Hills on a Sunday night, and no one calls the police. We're waiting at the house. No one shows up.
See, they were ignorant.
I still can't believe it.
So you called the police, but at that point you had already decided.
We had decided not to.
You weren't going to say anything.
We were very stunned, and we felt that we would go to jail, obviously, and it was a selfish reason to just not want to have to go through that.
What about spending the money? Cars, watches, invested in businesses, the good life.
Well, it was the same life before or afterwards.
With more money.
With more money, but I didn't know what to do with the money. It got to a point where I have all this money and so much pain. I don't know what to do with it, and eventually,
I don't know. You're losing me. I would think that you would be in such grief that you wouldn't be able to buy Rolexes and invest in businesses. Explain to me. Let me understand. I'm the public.
I don't think that it's understandable. I mean, people react to some traumatic event like that in different ways.
You went to your psychologist, Dr. Oziel, and told him that you had committed this crime.
It got to a point where I could no longer live. I felt that I was the worst person on earth, and it got to a point where I couldn't live with myself anymore, and I needed help. And so I went to him, and
their conscience was killing them.
Was for me getting arrested.
Well, more him than
You've had a lot of therapy.
6 years of intense therapy.
How are you different than the man who came in here?
I'm 6 years older. I'm a lot more mature. I came in here as an 18-year-old kid who didn't know anything about life.
What did you learn about yourself?
I learned I learned what love was about. I learned what love was about because of my grandmother, because of all my relatives who didn't say, "I can't believe you did this." Instead, they said, "Eric, I know who you are. You're not this type of person. You're not the type of person who could do this for no reason."
Have you had therapy, Lyle?
The same therapy, and it really works to just have someone you can communicate with that's willing to listen. All our lives, it was just sort of fending off things.
It almost sounds like prison was a good thing for you.
It was.
It was?
I mean, at first, I killed my parents, and I spent 6 months out there in horrible agony because I had done this. I mean, a year before, I told my mother how much I loved her. I could not have imagined doing this even a week before to her. I adored her. And then suddenly you're arrested, and everyone can know you did it, and you can finally tell people, and it's a relief.
Lyle, you're looking at your brother like you almost never heard this before. Tell me how you felt.
For me, emotionally being in prison conditions was really not, emotionally was not a shocking difference from the life we had lived, because we lived really a very stressful, fearful life. And to me, it was kind of like, I felt I should be punished. And it didn't feel good, but there was a part of you that feels like, that's right, it's better.
You get a lot of mail?
We still get a tremendous amount of mail.
Hundreds?
We've gotten hundreds, thousands over the years.
That's crazy, right? Because I know a lot of people heard me say that I've had a love-hate relationship with my mom, right? And it's possible, right? Like, when my mom passed away, it hurt, right? And I held all that in, the tears. I didn't want nobody to see me weak. Like, when I finally cried, I cried in my fiance's arms. In the dark, in our house, away from everybody. And I just let everything out, right? And what's crazy is that when she passed away, even though it hurt, it was like a big release. Like, she's now in a better place, maybe, hopefully, right? Does heaven exist? Maybe, I don't know. But, is she up there? Is she down there? I don't know. You see where I'm coming from, right? Because in the end is when she sat here and asked me, for an apology. And I forgave my mom. But it's crazy that it took her that long to sit here and really, 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 really give me an apology. And it's like I was sitting here thinking, like, what would make her, be the way she was before? Because it's like she tried to be a mom, but then it's like she was always a woman before a mother. And that's why I always tell people, man, before I'm a woman, I'm always going to be a mother. Like, no matter what, I'm always going to be a mother. That's why at times I may seem very overprotective with my kids, but shit, fuck that. Even those that you care about, those that you love, could sit here and without you knowing it, do something to the one you care about, right? And you won't even find out until, why? Because people, like I said, they use fear. And the one fear that they'll use is, like, for example, with them, I guess they was using each other. With me, they would threaten my brother, they would do this, and I would keep my mouth shut. So when they was younger, they was making them do things. So it seemed like, Eric said that his, dad had threatened him on one of the videos. So it's kind of like, like I tell people, all that after that confession from Eric to Lyle is when everything happened. They didn't take the time to think things through. They just did things. They wasn't thinking. Hey, it be hard. Like, I don't understand. Running on fear, not knowing what to do. That shit is not easy. You're not even thinking. You're just doing it out of emotion. You're reacting out of emotion, out of anger, fear. Like, some may think, oh, I'm brave. No, you're not brave. You're just reacting out of emotion.
Years.
We asked your lawyers to give us a sample of some of your letters. A great many of them seem to deal with some people who have been abused themselves and relate to you. Lyle, what do you say to people who write to you?
A lot of people that have written were very, they drew a lot of strength from watching the trial and from seeing Eric and I. And I've gotten mail after the verdict, people discouraged. And I wanted to say to them to not lose hope because of this one case and this one verdict, very unique situation here. And that this does not mean that if they go get help, people won't believe them or people will treat them harshly or they'll be ridiculed. I don't feel they will be.
That's not to say do what we did. Don't do what we did, but don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid of
People that want to reach out to social workers for help, but are ashamed or afraid.
Do you also get love letters?
Yeah,
You find that strange?
It's a strange phenomenon that a lot of love letters come in from people that don't know you at all.
Do either one of you have girlfriends? Do either one of you have someone who cares particularly about you now at this point in your life?
I do. I have someone who I love very much and is a saint to put up with everything that comes with this.
Can you tell us who she is?
Yeah, her name is Anna Erickson, and I hope that we can get married, even though it's a very limited relationship because of where we are. The exchange of love and sharing, it keeps you in touch with yourself and softer, and otherwise you can become very hard and cold in here.
Is this someone you knew before prison?
No.
This is someone who began to write to you and meet you?
She wrote me many years ago, but I've come to know her well. But just someone that I met through the mail.
And she wants to marry you?
And she does.
Eric?
No, not at the moment.
You're not going to meet a lot in prison, Eric.
No, I probably won't.
Hey,
It's hard. Lyle's more able to have that type of relationship.
Eric, you know that the prosecutor brought up the fact that you might have been a homosexual.
See?
And that this might have caused some of the fury on your father's part.
Yes, he did.
I didn't hear about girlfriends.
They were there.
I guess what I just have to say to you is, are you gay?
No. The prosecutor brought that up because I was sexually molested, and he felt in his own thinking that if I was sodomized by my father, that I must have enjoyed it, and therefore I must be gay, and the people that are gay out there must be sexually molested, or they wouldn't be. Felt, and it was upsetting to hear, but I'm not gay. But a lot of gay people write and feel connected to me.
A problem at the trial was the.
And I'm glad he said that, right? Because let me tell y'all something, right? Me due to my trauma, right, I ended up, right, inhabiting that habit of dressing like a tomboy, right? I still do, 35 years old, right? I just dress up more like a girly tomboy now, right? But before it was baggy this and baggy that. And I wasn't a lesbian or a dyke. You see where I'm coming from? It was more as in, I thought that the baggier I dressed, or if I dressed like a boy, straight up like a boy, the men would stop looking at me, or they wouldn't see me in any sexual type of way. They would just ignore me. But crazy part is, right, as I got older, I noticed that it doesn't change the fact, right, that if a pervert is going to be a pervert, he's going to be a pervert. A rapist is a rapist, a molester is a molester, a predator is a predator. You see where I'm coming from, right? Men are going to look at women, men are going to look at little girls, depending on what they are, right? Let me not confuse people when I say that, right? The predators are going to look at the little girls, right? The way they look at them, or the little boys, right? No matter how they dress, right? And the grown men are going to look at women, right? If he's into her, he's going to, like, listen, no matter what she dresses, like, right? If he loves her, how she dresses shouldn't matter. And what's crazy, right? I learned that through therapy and through the two relationships that I was in. I would have never thought that I would have been, engaged twice, right? My the father of my first two kids is, he passed away. He's not here, but I was engaged to him. And sure, like, phew, like he really accepted me, and that really was shocking. I'm sitting here, I'm like, the way I am, the way I act, the way I behave, he accepted all of me, everything. In the beginning, he was confused, like he didn't know a lot, of my story, right? He didn't really know the story, but as time went by, we talked, and that's why I said at one point he almost lost his life, like he almost lost his freedom, like shit. Like, I would have never thought that somebody out there would have sat here and defended me and protected me the way he did. And the same thing goes to my second fiance, the father of my daughter. Like, this man would sit here and fucking hop oceans, mountains, rivers. He'll take a bullet for me. And he's showing. Like, this man will go to jail for me. Like, I would have never thought that there was men out there that would look, at a woman that would dress tomboyish, right? And have feelings for her, love her, care for her, right? And these two men had shown me different from other men. They didn't get mad, when my attention wasn't there when we were friends. You see where I'm coming from? Or when I curved them or I did this. No, other men would. Oh, you a dyke, you this. Look at how you dress. Da 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 da. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, these two men taught me what real men were. But, my whole life I was dressing like that, thinking that nobody would look at me in any shape, way, or form. And look, these two men right here they didn't look past me. They didn't look at my outside beauty. They looked at my inner beauty and who I was, how I carried myself, right? And I dress like a girl when I have to, when I feel like it, when the occasion fits. But if I'm out here, I'm gonna dress comfortable. I don't care what nobody thinks. Got me fucked up. How I dress shouldn't bother you. And if you feel like I'm a lesbian because I'm a woman and I dress a little tomboyish, right? But for me, it's comfortable. For me, I feel as though I don't have to show my body out here to the world. My body belongs to the man that I'm with. He's who I'm giving it to, right? The fuck I'm gonna be out here, half undressed for, especially when I'm in a relationship. Now, if I was in a relationship, listen, but I still dress like this. So at the end of the day, but my whole point is, listen, to each his own, but y'all got to understand, not everybody reacts the same. Just because you've been through some type of sexual abuse doesn't mean, if you're a man, that you're hopping on rainbows. And if you're a woman, that hopping on rainbows too. Like, people got to really, take the time and analyze certain things. Like, really? That's what you really think just because this person has been through this. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen and heard. And what's crazy, I'm saying this, right? Years of therapy, once again. That's why when people say shit, it don't even bother me no more. And I don't even put myself in situations where people could sit here and try to trigger me. I've had people try me, trust me, on social media and off social media. I'm good. Bye. Listen, because if I hit you back, you're not gonna like it. Now I'm gonna be the villain and you're gonna be the victim. Like, get the fuck out my face. So yeah, let's get back on topic, yo, man. It's messed up. I can't believe that, they went through this. Like, I could believe it, yeah, because around this era, it's fucked up. This was around the era where motherfuckers kept everything quiet, especially if something like this happened in a family household. It's just because you're rich, right, doesn't mean that this is not going to happen. Just because you got money, shit is even worse. They got more money to cover it up. Shit, you get, more justice out here in the hood, right, than what you would in the suburbans where motherfuckers got a bag. I'm sorry to say it, but the more money you got, the more things you can get away with. And that's why their father was going to be able to get away with it. And in my opinion, right, the only way, right, to sit here and help a predator, a pedophile, right, is by building a casket. And you know what we do? We build caskets up in this John. Hashtag rest in peace to all the predators. Everybody that's tuning in, right? Put caskets in the chat. We building caskets up in this bitch.
Gender bias that because there we were dealing with males and in an incest family that there's sort of perceptions that, well, maybe it was something that he wanted, something that he allowed to happen, that he shouldn't be allowed to feel afraid because he's a male. I really felt that people might have seen this case very differently if it were a sister that I was protecting or that was involved in this, and a brother.
This whole business of abuse.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. If it was a sister that he was protecting, people would have seen this case completely different. Completely different. That's what I'm saying. People got to listen to what they're saying, what's coming out their mouth. Look at, their reaction, their behavior. That's like, yo, I went through a lot of these videos and you could see it. Like, even a therapist or a counselor could see it. Like, come on.
Excuse that you were abused by your parents, sexually abused, emotionally abused by this tough, unyielding father. But there are lots of people who are abused sexually in other ways and they don't kill their parents. And you've been ridiculed for this abuse excuse. What do you say about it?
Abuse excuse is a word that Alan Dershowitz made up, not knowing anything about the case. To simplify it to its simplest degree, if a person is raped, man or woman, and she kills the man who raped her, is it an excuse that the reason she killed him is because she was raped? Of course not. I certainly never felt that what I did was justified or right. It was just a question of how wrong was it.
That was a big misperception about this case, that it was about justification or excuse. And my brother and I essentially pled guilty. That was very hard for me to hear the ridicule about that, because I really felt that Eric and I, we could have gone to trial like most people and just sort of, we weren't there, it wasn't us, and had that trial.
What do you mean we could have gone to trial? We weren't there?
Well, you could go to trial and just say that I was, chipping golf balls at the time and I wasn't there. And Eric and I went to trial and said, we did this.
There were tapes.
Tapes became admissible because we said we did it. Lyle and I fought because he felt that telling the world that Dad was a sexual torturer was killing Dad twice, and he did not want to kill Dad twice. And he fought, and he said, I don't want to go up there, I'm not going to take the stand, I'm not going to do it. And then when he did, there was a great outpouring. There was also people laughing at him, and it was strange.
Eric, you were able to tell your psychologist that you had killed your parents, but you were not able to tell your psychologist that your father had abused you?
Unless you've been molested, you can't realize how hard it is to tell.
Because of shame?
Because of shame.
The story continues now, the scene being set for...
Because of shame, because of fear, because of everything. And that's why I keep saying these young men reacted out of emotions. They didn't even know which emotion to pick. Should I control this? Should I not? The impulse. They just went on and did it. Like, at that moment, they didn't care about the consequences until everything cooled off. Like, even though it took so many months, until everything really cooled off, it took for that lawyer lady to get them to say everything. And sometimes that's what it takes. Somebody that, sits here and really cares. That's what they needed. Their whole life, they didn't know what that was. And then when you finally have it in front of you, it's like, it's a relief. Somebody that understands. I could actually talk and say, this, and the third, and not be judged. That's the problem with people. People want people to come out here and just say things, just cause, like, oh, come on, you could, it's okay. Trust me. Just tell me what's going on. I won't. But then the next thing you see is them getting judged. Like, yo, what? Like, really? You just said, yeah, you just can't trust everybody with this, because people take it as a game. People take it as a joke. And especially if they haven't been through it. What confuses me is the ones that have been through some type of shit like this and turn it as a game. Listen, I've seen it. I'm sitting here, I'm like, you've been through this shit and you're playing with this shit? I'm good. I'm like, you don't do that. You don't play with this when you've been through this. If anything, you bring awareness to this. Don't play around with this. But that makes me look at people like, okay, you're just doing this to, get some type of attention. And this is not the way to go, because people have lost their lives like that. Like, you don't play around with this.
For murder. Describe your relationship with your father. What words come into your mind?
Brutal. Painful. Torturous. And yet I thought that he was the most powerful and brilliant person I had ever met.
I was his firstborn son. That was very important to him. And my bond with him was, I thought, strong, because we had been through so much together. But it was difficult to see the things that were going on.
Things that were going on, that is, when you learned that he was sexually molesting your brother?
He had sexually molested me before I was a teenager. And it was a much different experience than Eric's.
Because you were little?
Because I was little, I guess.
There are some questions that everybody asks, like, why didn't you run away?
I wish my God. That I could have. I tried to run away when I was 12, and my father found me, caught me.
See,
and
like
said,
I
if
said,
you ever run away, I will kill you. I will.
See. Like I said, I knew it was something like that. And like I said before, y'all make it seem like it's so easy, not knowing what type of parents these people had. Listen, when your parent has respect out here in the community, it's impossible for you to run away. It's impossible. Real shit. Like, when everybody respects your parents, they'll say, oh, I saw your child over here. I saw you there. Listen, it's like you have parents with octopus arms. Each arm is in every corner. Like, when you run away, you hit a corner. It's like, oh shit, here comes the hand trying to smack you, hold you, grab you. Now you got to curve that, run this way. You thinking you dodged the bullet. Here comes another hand, whoosh, smacking you across the face. That's how it is. That's the reality. Whether people want to hear it or not. Yes, that's the reality, and I'm not the only one saying it. See, the problem is people so caught up on social media, televisions. Like, come on, man. Out here in the real world, it ain't what people, think like, oh, I seen this. Like, no, if you haven't been through it, if you haven't experienced it, you're not going to know it. So the only way you can understand somebody else is for 1 second, for 1 minute, you stepping outside of yourself, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and walking a mile in it. And while you're in them shoes, right, being able to see what this person is seeing, thinking what this person is thinking, like, right, feeling what this person feels, right? Would you take a minute and reconsider how you felt about this person? Now that you know how this person sees things, feels, and know why this person does the things that this person does. I don't think anybody could really do that. Just a random thought.
Find you, and I will kill you.
Suppose you left and you, I don't know what, became a waiter and moved away. You still thought he'd find you?
He would find me and probably kill me. I thought for certain he would kill me.
You still think that?
Real shit. Like, listen, my mom used to always tell me, man, I bought you into the, she used to say it in Spanish, so I have to translate. Yo te traje en este mundo. De la misma forma que te traje en este mundo, te puedo sacar, mamá. So I brought you into this world. I could easily take you out this world. And as a kid, you'll be like, really? Oh, okay. I used to hate that shit. Like, why the fuck did you put me into this world for? I didn't ask to be here. Why did you bring me here? Why did you give birth to me? See, you can't say shit to kids like that. That's why I don't say that to my kids. I brought you into this world. I could easily take you out. No, that's not something you say to your fucking kids. You're not the ops. The fuck, motherfuckers. Yo, some parents be thinking that they ain't fucking Call of Duty. I'm sorry. I'm cussing again. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. yo, man, let's build some caskets. Let's just build some caskets. Let's bury these predators.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you love your mother or like your mother?
I loved my mother and I tried to help her. My mother was a person in a lot of pain, and she was alcoholic and she was suicidal.
Did she know about the abuse, the sexual abuse?
She knew.
And didn't do anything?
She knew, and it doesn't seem that she did anything.
Right. And what's crazy is, as hard as it may seem for some of y'all, yeah, some parents know what's going on and don't do nothing. I remember the first time I made my mama a promise. I was so young, fucked up in the head, had to toughen up. Even though that was a promise I knew I could never keep. Just peep, cause this is deep. Mama, I try to reach. Why you try to breathe? You knew he was nothing but a leaf. He was just like Adam. But instead of the apple, he grabbed the fruit of your leaves, and to him they tasted like peaches. That's when I knew that promises were meant to be broken if they don't come from the heart. Damn, that's fucked up, mama. You put your child in the middle of your promise. You put your whole world on your child's shoulder. Not once thinking that in the future she'll have her own burdens. She screamed, mama, please, while she begged on her knees. Let my protector come back into my life with her wrist sliced in the air. God, please. As time passed by, she learned what a curse and a blessing was, and now she is blessed to be. This must.
Do you still think about the night of the murder?
Every day.
You both do? Tell me as clearly as you can why you murdered your parents that night.
First thing that comes to mind is terror. I was so afraid. A few days before, I had said to myself, I'm never going to let my father touch me again. After I told Lyle that it had been continuing on, I said to myself, I'm never going to let him touch me again. And just before the shootings, my dad told me to get to my room and that he would be there in a minute, and he was going to come up and there was going to be sex. And it was like an explosion in my mind.
But you bought the guns. It wasn't something that just happened that moment. You thought about it.
No.
You bought the guns in advance. They just weren't in the house.
Yes, we bought the guns in advance.
So this didn't just happen that moment.
We bought the guns. There was a series of confrontations and blow-ups in the house. My dad, when it first was revealed that
That's why I said the last time, like, I felt as though that they felt threatened by their parents at one moment. They went and got that, right? Like, because they bought the gun before that. So it's kind of like, I can go about this in so many ways, but people not really going to understand anyways, right? But hopefully those that do, right? Like, it feels like, they bought it just in case. But it just so happens, they pulled it out that night that the father threatened Eric. That's why I just said, like, Eric went to Lyle, I know what it's like, because when my brother came to me, boy, but I was a little older, right? Just like Lyle. And it's crazy as, right, Lyle was the one that came up with everything. And I was older than my brother. And I wanted to get, like, really, you're hurting him, and you're still hurting me. Like, boy, when I'm telling you them thoughts, whoo. And I didn't want to be separated from my brother. And I backed off. And then when I backed off, I was looking at myself like, damn, you a coward. Like, it's your fault. If it happens to, I was blaming myself for so many things. I ended up committing suicide. I poisoned myself instead of poisoning him. And that's what happened every time. Because it's like, if I do this, they're going to put him away. They're going to put me away. Like, and I didn't, I couldn't stand I couldn't stand being away from my brother. Like, it got to the point where, I had to get help. I left. I got the help that I needed, did what I had to do. When I came back from my brother, it was too late. But I tried. So I could understand where Eric and Lyle is coming from. Like, I'm not excusing it. They're guilty for murdering their parents, right? But what if they wouldn't have succeeded and they wouldn't have went that wild, right? And they would have just shot them to teach them a lesson and they would have stood alive. Would they still be walking and receiving some type of mental help and the parents in jail? Or will the parents still be free because of all the money they had and them in jail? I mean, I look at it in so many ways and I have so many questions still because it's crazy. Like, Eric and Lyle pulled off something that a lot of kids that go through this type of trauma wish they could have pulled off, but they didn't. And what I say by that is they had the thoughts, but they didn't do it. Is it emotion? What is it? The behavior? What is it that makes, see, around that time I was also going to therapy. So it's kind of like, Could have therapy already have been helping me? So I do question a lot of things. Like, damn, I look at this case, I'm like, whew, you could have took another route. Found a way out, yes. But could there have been another way out in reality? Could there have been shit. Eric was being tortured forever. It was nonstop. So Lyle's reaction is understandable, but I'm not making no excuses. They were wrong.
I had told Lyle about the secret. My dad said to Lyle, "You're going to tell everyone, and I'm not going to let that happen."
Take me through your mind, Lyle.
I cannot separate and say this is why this happened. My father was threatening us, and so there was fear, but there was there was anger on my part, and my mother was aware of and had allied herself with my father, and there was a great deal of confusion. This happened all in just 3 days, and I wish I'd give anything to just turn back that one page of my life.
The other big question. You killed your father, who was molesting you. Why did you kill your mother?
On Thursday night before, in one of the explosions, I was running downstairs and I was crying, and my mother was on the couch and she had been drinking, and she said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Nothing, you wouldn't understand." And she said, "Oh, I understand. What do you think, I'm stupid?" And she told me that she knew, that she had known all my life what my father was doing. And it was like I didn't even know who she was anymore.
Exactly.
And I just saw Dad and Mom as the same person at that point.
Yeah.
I saw them as a single person.
And really the first time that this secret about what was happening with Dad and Eric was discussed openly in the family in a very angry way. I don't know about Eric, but I completely lost control myself. And in that time, I didn't separate. I knew my mother and my father. It was just adrenaline and fear and anger.
Lost control.
There is no explanation.
But you had thought about this earlier because you had bought the gun several days before.
We knew that this could end. A violent confrontation could occur because my father had threatened my life.
You still think your father would have killed you for revealing the secret? You both still feel that?
There's no question.
Really?
I still believe that. I don't believe that he was in the process of killing us that moment, that evening.
Yeah.
But and I don't think that it might seem, because there are so few cases that come to the public's attention like this, that this has never occurred ever before in the country. And in fact, there are over 200 parricides a year that involve incest families. And so, I felt it completely then, and now I believe that. But
And in 2024, it has risen. It's worse. The numbers have, gotten higher. Yes, it's happening. I've done reactions on it. So, hopefully I go live. Maybe I want to, but I can't make that promise, man. If I go live tomorrow, we're going to be, doing some sex crime. Well, not just sex crimes, but, we're going to be doing all types of crimes tomorrow. So if I go, crimes caught on camera, interviews, and much more if I go live tomorrow. So if y'all not subbed up, make sure y'all subbed up to a shorty, right? If y'all enjoying the stream, if y'all enjoying the live, please do a shorty a favor. Please smash that like button for her, man. Share the video. Let's keep bringing awareness to, different topics, different situations. Let's see if we can bring solutions to the table. Let's talk about it. Let's have respectful conversations. Now, let me ask y'all a question. We know that they're guilty, right, for killing their parents, right? Do y'all believe that they should already be released? Should they be free by now? And if they are free, how many of y'all, if they do get released, right? How many of y'all believe that they should be released with mandatory counseling? Just in case. And I say just in case is because, they never had a normal childhood, one. Never really received the proper help or support, two. 3, they've been in jail for so long. They're going to need it. This is a whole new world out here. Very different. If they thought they had it bad back then, imagine now.
But I would not shoot my parents now, no matter what.
How now would you have resolved it? Now, almost 7 years later? What do you think you should have done?
I would have never told. I got Lyle into this. I went to him and I said, "Lyle, I can't live anymore with what's going on," and got him involved. He was way to go. They had bought him a condominium. He was going to Princeton. He had all the money.
So it's your fault for telling your brother?
It's my fault. And I got him involved and said, "I need your help." And 5 days later, my parents were dead.
So it's your fault?
That's completely my fault.
he was suicidal at the time, and it was just a last thing to reach out to. And obviously, who was going to reach out to, and I decided to confront my father rather than just sort of not say anything and just have Eric and I leave. Which, if I could go back, that's what I would do. I would just say, Eric's old enough now; he wants to leave.
Have you forgiven yourself?
I don't think it's possible.
Why? Are you at any kind of peace?
More so than maybe Eric, because at this point, for some reason, well before the verdict, I was resigned to bad things, and I have, I think, found a place where I can look forward and try to have hope and share myself more with people. And
Hope of what?
hope of living a life that I can be more proud of.
How in prison?
You're confined, but there must be, even just in writing, people that need help.
If you can help them and convince a single person that has been through our situation that the last thing in the world they should do is act out violently, then you find meaning in your life.
Mm-hmm. If you could say something to your mother and your father, I'm sure you have in your...
Listen, man, they can't turn back the hands of time. That's one thing that they cannot do. They cannot turn back the hands of time. So they're thinking straight, right? It's like me. I say the same thing, right? My focus now is, hopefully that my story, since it's out there, right, will help the next person, motivate the next person. And it has, right? It has motivated a few females. I've had some women come up on my panel, speak on their story, right? Not all the way the same as mine, but similar to my story, right? And their stories have helped younger women to the point where I've had some people, hey, Ray, let me, interview you. Let me do this. Let me do that. No. If I let somebody interview me on my story, it's going to be the person that I pick, the person that I choose, that I feel comfortable with, that I know that's not going to sit here and play with my story or, be disrespectful or rude, because this is not something you joke around and play with. So look, listen, man, I'm glad that, hopefully, this was in 1996. We're in 2024, right? They still got the support from their family and everything. Unfortunately, these two young men at that time decided to act and react on their emotions. They didn't take the time to think about what was the consequences behind their actions. At that moment, they just wanted to get rid of what was hurting them, which was their parents, unfortunately, right? Living the type of trauma that they was living, I don't wish it on nobody. Because the trauma that I lived, I don't wish it on nobody either. And it's not something easy to overcome. These men are still going to need some type of counseling when they come home. Hopefully they get it, right? They shot both their parents, right? And in reality, whether y'all like it or not, it was on self-defense, because if they stood there, they couldn't leave, right? It happened again. So here's my thing, right? So just say, fuck it. Don't defend yourself. Just let it keep happening. You can't leave. You can't get no help. Nobody believes you. Just let it keep happening, right? What if y'all was in their shoes and y'all was going through what they was going through? What would y'all do? Exactly what they was going through, the options and the choices they had. What would y'all do? It's not easy, right? Not easy at all.
Your own minds. What would you say?
I am so sorry. I forgive them completely for anything they have done to us. If I had one wish, it would be to be able to have one conversation with them or to change places with them.
That's crazy. They should not. Yo, I get where a lot of people coming from, but after hearing the stories about what their mom and their dad did to them, right? Their parents owe them an apology if their parent was alive. For real. Because what they did was the consequences of their actions too. And if their parents unfortunately, they killed their parents. I wish they would have made a better decision, but they didn't, right? Do I understand them? Yes. I'm not going to make an excuse for them. Unfortunately, they killed them, and I wish they they would have made a better decision, but they didn't. And I can't blame them, but they don't owe their parents an apology. Their parents owe them an apology.
I hope someday that I can be with them and have some sort of conversation about what happened. It is one of the awful things is that I can't, we couldn't communicate that weekend, and I can't. And
Yes, that
just
easy.
that I love them, and that I believe, despite everything that happened, that they really loved us, and that things just went awry.
That's not love.
Our interview is over. Deputies now arrive to take Eric and Lyle Menendez back to the cell blocks. They were handcuffed and chained for the long walk back. Their legs had been shackled throughout the interview. This had been one of their infrequent opportunities to see one another in jail. The guards would now take each of them to their separate cells and to the certainty of the rest of their lives in prison.
She would say,
Oh, nope. That's for next weekend. But yeah, for those of y'all that think that's love, man, that's not love. Like, their parents was not showing them any type of love. That was nothing more than just abuse. I'm gonna sit here and be honest. That's not love. But let's jump into, I'm gonna see. Let's wait a second and see if we got, anybody else that, wants to say something. What are your opinions? How do y'all feel about, Eric and Lyle? Do y'all feel that they should be free by now? Or should they be suffering more in jail? Should they keep them behind bars for killing their parents, for killing the parents that were sitting here and sexually abusing them? What is y'all opinions on that? So we're gonna take a quick little break and then we're gonna jump into the Vince McMahon. Quick little break and then we jumping into Vince McMahon. Oh, whoa. All right, y'all. All right. So how many of y'all grew up on wrestling, right? I grew up on wrestling for a good little bit, right? Listen, I spoke on this before, right? I used to think wrestling was fake. I was told it was fake, so I thought it was fake. It was nothing more than just entertainment to me, right? A lot of the shit that was done in wrestling was funny. Man, listen, I love The Undertaker, Triple H, China, Eddie Guerrero. Like, those are, and let's not forget Trish. Those are my favorite wrestlers. But never in my life that I would have thought that, a lot of the shit in wrestling was, real, the fights, the arguments and stuff like that. I thought everything was scripted. But, as it turns out, it's not. But Vince McMahon, right? They're saying that he doesn't own WWE. I'm not sure. They're saying that he's coming back with a new platform. But I don't know how, especially with all these lawsuits, right? I don't know if Vince McMahon will be able to manage to, make, how can I say, start any new platforms or not with all these lawsuits, because right now, this was 8 days ago, new lawsuit filed against Vince McMahon and WWE, AEW Dynamite Review. So let's see what he's got to say.
Another lawsuit has been filed against WWE, and it again includes Vince McMahon, Tempest review of AEW Dynamite, and more. I'm Luke Owen, this is the Wrestle Talk News.
Support Wrestle Talk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. In January of this year, Janelle Grant filed a lawsuit against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and WWE with accusations of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, and sex trafficking. The suit sends shockwaves through the wrestling.
He got all these lawsuits. Like, man, listen, you know what's crazy? I wouldn't put it past anybody that's got a bag. For real, for real. Look at the Diddy situation. They're saying Jay-Z's next. I mean, all these high-paid, people from Hollywood, the music industry, and much more, man. I wouldn't put it past. I'm just sitting here like, damn, why is it that everything that entertained us as kids, now that we're older, like, these motherfuckers is getting charged left and right with all these type of cases? Like, damn. I'm saying, I'm like, damn, Vince McMahon. I wasn't expecting this. But, it can't be shocking. Not to me. I'm not shocked. I just wasn't expecting it. Like, oh shit.
world, with McMahon being removed from his position within TKO, the holding company for WWE, and saw the removal of Brock Lesnar from WWE TV programming as he was reportedly implicated within the claims. The suit is currently on hold due to a federal investigation into Vince McMahon. It was also the subject of the final episode of the Mr. McMahon docuseries on Netflix, which was originally announced to be a joint venture between Netflix and WWE. The documentary was intended to be a warts and all series that would cover topics like Owen Hart, the steroid trial, and Chris Benoit, with interviews with McMahon himself and several top WWE names like Cody Rhodes, John Cena, The Rock, and Steve Austin. That all changed when McMahon had sexual misconduct allegations made against him in 2022, which led to him stepping away and retiring from WWE, only to come back a few months later to sell the company and merge it to form TKO. Another of the warts and all topics covered in the documentary is the 1992 Ring Boys scandal, which saw ring announcer Mel Phillips and others accused of sexually abusing underage boys in exchange for...
Damn. But is he using the company like a stock or something like that? But the Ring Boys, yo, I thought that only ring girls existed and it was in boxing. You know, they also did it in wrestling, but I was trying to figure out who the Ring Boys were, and I think they're the announcers. So let me go back a little bit because I cut him off and I got lost off track. Hey, why are you not pressing play?
To form TKO. Another of the warts and all topics covered in the documentary is the 1992 Ring Boys scandal, which saw ring announcer Mel Phillips and others accused of sexually abusing underage boys in exchange for work within WWE. The story was covered extensively by Phil Mushnick in the New York Post, and McMahon would later sue Mushnick for defamation. A lawsuit filed by Tom and Lee Cole was settled days before the famous episode of Phil Donahue, which McMahon appeared on. Phillips passed away in 2012. And now, for the first time, McMahon is named in a new lawsuit related to the Ring Boys scandal. The new lawsuit is filed against Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, WWE, and TKO on behalf of 5 John Does, who claim to have been known by WWE as Ring Boys hired by Phillips. The suit writes the underage Ring Boys were groomed, exploited, and sexually abused by Phillips, who targeted children from broken homes. His sexual assaults occurred not only at the wrestling venues, but also in hotel rooms and other locations where Phillips would shuttle the boys in plain sight. Defendants were fully aware of the systemic and pervasive abuse and did nothing to prevent or stop it. The suit adds the survivors only recently learned of the depth of knowledge that the McMahons and the WWE had about what happened to them, and the sexual abuse in the company started at the top with the...
So Vince McMahon, so they're suing Vince McMahon on this lawsuit because he had knowledge of it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. Like, people will say, oh, he's innocent, he didn't do nothing. But you sat here and became a co-conspirator once you knew and kept it hushed. Like, how can you sit here and watch this shit happen and not do nothing about it? I don't understand this of people. Like, really? Let's move on.
The McMahons. Vince McMahon's attorney Jessica Rosenberg released a statement to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics saying more than 30 years ago, the columnist Phil Mushnick tried to make headlines with these same false claims. Those allegations were never proven and ultimately became the subject of a defamation lawsuit against Mr. Mushnick. The negligence claims against Mr. McMahon that were asserted today rely on the same absurd, defamatory, and utterly meritless statements by Mr. Mushnick. We will vigorously defend Mr. McMahon and are confident that the court will find that these claims are untrue and unfounded. If you have been affected by anything covered in today's Wrestle Talk news, please do visit our Support Each Other page on our website, which is linked to in the video description down below. Look, it's hard to segue out of that bit of news into Tempest's AEW Dynamite review, so let me instead shout out this guy from Dynamite who brought in a sign shouting out Queeba and Gris. There are only a handful of people in the comments that will appreciate that sign as much as I do. Shout out to Brian Chris, Flubs Unite.
Welcome to this Sat E Thursday, where Sat and I are going to be reviewing Dynamite on the podcast later on. But in the meantime, I'm...
All right, so let me pause that. I'm going to leave the link to this man right here so that y'all can go check him out. It's going to be in the chat. So apparently, new lawsuit towards Vince McMahon. This one's for the abuse of the Ring Boys. And if he, if he sat here, he witnessed what's going on, he seen anything happen, or, any of this is on video and Vince knew, yeah, I feel as though that, sue his ass too. But is they suing the other bull? I forgot what his name was. Hold on 1 second. Are they suing the other guy? Hold on. We got some more videos. So we were starting from right here. Here we go.
Months after an ex-WWE.
So I guess they're exposing everything. It says, this is Law and Crime, right? Law and Crime sidebar with Jesse Weber. Vince McMahon strikes back at ex-lover after sex assault lawsuit. She will be exposed. So let's see what's going on with this. I would have never thought of this, but you know what's crazy? It doesn't shock me because look who we talking about. We talking about a billionaire. We're talking about somebody with a bag that could sit here and pay his way through life for a good minute until he gets caught.
Months after an ex-WWE employee filed a bombshell lawsuit against him, Vince McMahon is firing back with allegations of his own. We are breaking down what's in his motion to compel arbitration. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey everybody, this is a law and crime legal alert. Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. And Massport Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is helping users file for compensation due to Google misleading the privacy of their incognito browser. So if you've used Google Incognito time since 2016, incognitoclaims.com/sidebar. Back at the beginning of this year, Vince McMahon, the founder of the World Wrestling Federation, which became known as World Wrestling Entertainment, was slapped with a huge 67-page lawsuit. And we covered it a lot here on Sidebar. And in it, a former employee, Janelle Grant, accused him of absolutely horrific behavior. And we will now tell you what Vince McMahon's response is. But before we do that, here's some background. So Grant was a former staffer in WWE's legal and talent departments. She filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court against WWE, Vince McMahon, and a man named John Laurinaitis, a retired wrestler and head of the talent relations department for WWE.
I don't know who he is.
Now, the suit was filed in Connecticut, since that's where WWE's headquarters is. And according to her lawsuit, Grant met McMahon in 2019 when they lived in the same condo building. Grant's attorneys say that she had been the full-time caregiver for her parents, who both died, and the family home was lost in their bankruptcy. Complaint explained how she was in a really low place. Remember that. We'll get back to that. Well, after being introduced to McMahon, he essentially befriended her, showed her a lot of attention, and allegedly offered Grant a role with WWE, although what the role would be wasn't entirely clear at the time. And that seems to be something that McMahon allegedly took advantage of, because Grant says that she was coerced into a sexual relationship with McMahon in exchange for this new role at WWE. It was called Administrator Coordinator in the legal department. And
damn, but it seems like Vince McMahon was trying to pay every female. Like, Vince, wasn't Linda giving you some at home? Like, she's Vince. Like, you're not everybody's cup of tea, Vince. Like, you really, all the fish out here in the world is willing to give it to you, let you catch them. Like, you can go sit in the river, put your little fishing rod out there. All these fish that are willing to let you catch them. You want to come out here and just take it. Are you serious, Vince?
And while she started there, McMahon transferred her to the talent relations department headed up, again, by John Laurinaitis. Despite Grant's alleged pleas to end this essentially quid pro quo sexual relationship, it did not. And according to Grant, it only got worse. She claimed that McMahon shared sexually explicit photos and videos of her with practically everyone, TV production teams, executives, producers, and even a WWE star who wasn't named in the suit. As an example of what she claimed she was subjected to, the lawsuit says that on May 9th, 2020, McMahon defecated on Grant's head during a threesome and commanded her to continue the sexual encounter with the third person, referred to as McMahon's friend. She later learned that third person was McMahon's physical therapist. Another allegation is that McMahon and Laurinaitis had sexual contact with her in an office at WWE headquarters, despite begging them to stop. But they each allegedly held her down as the assaults happened. And they allegedly said to her, no means yes. She sued under a number of...
Oh, yeah. They sexually assaulted her. She need to sue each and every one of them. And if Vince was a part of that, he need to go down too.
Legal theories, violation of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, negligence, battery, intentional or negligent infliction of emotional distress. And she was also asking for the court to invalidate an NDA that she signed. That in mind. Through his own attorney, Laurinaitis denied the allegations, which his counsel called, quote, a misguided complaint. In January of 2022, McMahon told Grant that his wife had found out about their sexual relationship. He said her time at WWE was at an end, but insisted she sign a non-disclosure agreement. The lawsuit claims that multiple high-ranking employees at WWE knew about the sexual relationship, as well as assaults allegedly committed on Grant at the offices, but they did nothing to stop it. So that was back in January. Now, at the time this lawsuit came out, he denied the allegations, but he still resigned from WWE's new parent company, TKO Group Holdings. He said he did it out of respect for the WWE universe. In a statement at the time, McMahon said, quote, Ms. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and is a vindictive distortion of the truth. I intend to vigorously defend myself against these baseless accusations and look forward to clearing my name. Well, we finally have an update on that vigorous defense. In response to Grant's civil action, McMahon's team has filed a memorandum of law in support of his motion to compel arbitration. The preliminary statement section of this immediately goes after Grant. It says, quote, by publicly filing her salacious, false, and defamatory complaint, plaintiff has brazenly and intentionally violated a binding contract to arbitrate. Don't forget that, because that's key. It goes on to say, the complaint's outrageous claims of sexual abuse and coercion are pure fiction, plainly intended to garner publicity, and are flatly contradicted by plaintiff's own contemporaneous statements. Contrary to plaintiff's false allegations, plaintiff and defendant engaged in a consensual relationship during which defendant never coerced plaintiff into doing anything and never mistreated her in any way. In fact, in a love letter, plaintiff wrote to defendant shortly before the parties ended their relationship.
Oh, wow.
Plaintiff described defendant as my best friend, my love, and my everything, praising him for being the, quote, wonderful, tender, vulnerable, heart on your sleeve soul you really are. It then goes on to state, quote, it is incredulous that plaintiff, a then 42-year-old woman who claims on her resume to have a law degree from Pace University, would have written these words to defendant months after all the events in the complaint of alleged abuse, coercion, and sex trafficking took place. Was that a dig, by the way? Claims to have a law degree from Pace?
Hmm.
Now, at the time that this alleged love letter was revealed, Grant's attorney reversed the narrative.
How do they know that that was her letter, right? How do they know that she wasn't set? This is crazy. Like, this isn't my first time, hearing stuff about, this nature. Like, Vince McMahon knowing what's going on with the abuse of his employees, right? I forgot her name. I think in 2019 or 2021 or 2022, around that area. One of the wrestlers, when they had traveled to Syria, Iraq, right? She got sexually abused there, and they told Vince, and he ignored it. And I think he ignored it. That's what they were saying, something like that, or something went down. I gotta go back to it because I was reacting to it, but they striked my damn live down. I have to watch the videos that I react to when I put them on here. But because they didn't believe her and stuff like that, after a while, she ended up taking her life. And that's why I say, these type of traumas, like, a lot of people have lost their life behind this because they can't take the pressure, of what's happening, what's going on. And I can go deeper. I could really go deeper, but that'll be something for another live. It's a shame. Like, she screamed for help, and Vince really, sat here and he did a lot of people dirty, from China on down. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. Like, it's a shame. It's a shame. I wish I would have, understood a lot of stuff that was going on when I was younger, but I wasn't paying that no attention. I was paying the entertainment attention. That's crazy. Like, shit. Hopefully she gets her justice if all this is true. And for her to win this, she's got to have some type of evidence, some type of proof against, the person she's accusing and Vince McMahon. So, hopefully something gets done.
Grant's attorney said that her client had been forced into writing it, that the letter was sent via email to McMahon on Christmas Eve of 2019. Well, McMahon's team says the idea that he coerced her into this is ridiculous. So a spokesperson provided a photo of an alleged text conversation between McMahon and Grant to the New York Post from the 21st, just a few days before the email was sent. And in the screenshot, Grant allegedly sent McMahon a photo of her index finger in a bandage, and she says she just had surgery, and McMahon allegedly responds, "Damn it, sorry, baby," with 2 heart emojis. Grant then apparently replies, "How will I write your letter? I can type and read it or try to write in a couple of days. I'm so sorry if I messed this up. I want you to have a nice letter." That's really interesting, because if I were her lawyer, Grant's lawyer, I could make the argument that that language of that message still could be that she was forced to write him the letter and didn't want to mess it up for him and wanted to have a nice letter. And let me just say this for a quick second. Let me take a moment to point this out. Assuming she wasn't coerced into writing the letter, the love letter would definitely be helpful to McMahon's claims that there was no abuse here. However, as we have noted in previous cases, sometimes victims of sexual assault, they stay in touch with their abusers. They express their love to their abusers. They do not speak out. They do not go to authorities. We have a greater understanding of the psychology of sexual trauma today than we did in the past. And that has been proven vital for plaintiffs' claims in a lawsuit and prosecutors' cases in criminal trials. In other words, just because a letter like this exists doesn't necessarily mean that what Grant says happened didn't happen. And also remember, this is a civil case. The burden of proof on her part to prove this happened is lower than a criminal trial. But having said that, got to get this. According to Grant's rep, who went unnamed in a New York Post article, Grant had written so many love letters to McMahon at his request that allegedly she started lifting lines about love from articles online. For example, the outlet matched up 2 sentences, almost word for word, that seemed to be taken from a GQ article about Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly from a couple months earlier. Now, the court filing continues, where again, McMahon casts doubt not only on Grant's claims of abuse, but even some basic preliminary information. Listen to this. It says, quote, at the time the parties met in 2019, plaintiff was not dealing with profound grief from her parents' deaths and struggling financially as described in her complaint, and she had not been devoting years to around-the-clock caregiving of her parents. Those statements are complete falsehoods. Based on a foreclosure action against plaintiff and her parents, plaintiff's father passed away on April 18, 2017, 2 years before plaintiff met defendant, and his marital status was recorded as widowed, confirming plaintiff's mother had passed earlier. Court records further show that contrary to her claim of around-the-clock caregiving, plaintiff's father lived in a senior care home in Stamford, Connecticut before he passed away, not with her. And the Grant's neighbor would bring plaintiff's mother.
Okay, so they're trying to say that Vince McMahon has proof that this lady is lying on him. That he didn't do nothing, and like they're making it look like she's kind of like a stalker. Like she's just chasing the bag. She wants nothing but Vince McMahon's money. So there's 2 sides to this story.
Dinner and help around the house before she passed. Wow. So those are.
Yeah, I seen some of it, a little bit. I've been real caught up, so I be catching portions of everything. It takes me a couple hours, sometimes days, to finish certain things. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I'll be really caught up. So yeah, I'm halfway through it. I saw the Diddy one first, so I was going in between both. But see, I'm not gonna speak on Diddy until I see the trial. Same thing with Ms. McMahon. We're gonna look at this and let's see if they, if they do have a trial, then we're gonna really, really, really talk about it.
Significant pieces of background information about Grant that McMahon's team says are just not true. That's not a good look for Grant's lawsuit if it contains these types of inaccuracies. But again, this is an allegation put forward by McMahon. But the McMahon response continues, and it also reveals that Grant was not only dating someone else at the time that she met McMahon, but the 2 were engaged. Quote, in addition to falsehoods about her own background, plaintiff's complaint is further riddled with fabrications and omissions about her relationship with defendant. During the parties' consensual relationship, plaintiff and defendant knew that the other was also involved in other romantic relationships. Plaintiff was living in Park Tower, a luxury multi-million-dollar building in Stamford, Connecticut, with her longtime fiancé, attorney Brian Gonsalves. Plaintiff and Gonsalves lived in the same luxury building as defendant, just 4 floors below, when the parties began their affair in 2019. Plaintiff would often visit defendant at his condominium at all hours, including at 2:30 a.m., to pursue their affair, and then return back to her condominium with Gonsalves the same night.
Oh, wow. So they're trying to say that, Vince McMahon and his team is trying to say that the chick was his side chick, but they was having a legitimate affair. Oh, shit. See? Listen, if the shorty's telling the truth, I hope she has proof, man, because it's not easy to win these type of cases with no proof, man. And it's seeming like Vince is hitting her from all types of ways. He got the money to pull this shit through. Whew. And I'm not defending Vince. It's just that this hasn't gone to trial yet. So all I could do is just give my honest opinion on what I'm hearing, what I'm listening, what I'm seeing. This is gonna be a crazy battle in court if it gets there.
Now you might be saying, well, that doesn't mean the abuse didn't happen. Listen carefully to this. Quote, it is nonsensical that the disturbing alleged acts in the complaint, including violence, coerced sex, and forcing plaintiff to be defecated on, were taking place before plaintiff returned to her lawyer fiancé 4 floors below without incident. So in other words, if this stuff was happening, Gonsalves would have seen it. It goes on to state, quote, defendant was never contacted by Gonsalves, who was on the board of the luxury building, anyone at the building, the police, any friends of the plaintiff, or any lawyer or advocate for plaintiff at any time about the fictitious, extensive, years-long abusive behavior alleged in the complaint. Now, on the one hand, I could see what they mean here. On the other hand, if Grant was keeping this all a huge secret, as she alleges, then maybe it is plausible that no one ever contacted McMahon. It's reasonable that didn't happen. Now, this is where things start to get really interesting. And the reason.
Yeah, this shit is crazy because she had a lawyer husband. He's married to Linda McMahon. Obviously, he didn't go to her apartment. So everything was being done in Vince McMahon's office? They had an apartment somewhere, they said, I think it was. What the fuck? Yo, these people, man. If Vince McMahon is guilty of this, yo, hopefully they lock him up and throw away the key. I get it. He's old. But at the end of the day, what he did, if he did it, was wrong.
For this motion. McMahon's team says, whoa, 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 whoa. You're supposed to talk about any issues, any concerns you have with him in private during arbitration, not filing a lawsuit in district court. That's the whole point of this. The filing states, after 3 years and having decided to return to their partners in January 2022, plaintiff and defendant agreed to end their consensual affair and separate from each other, with plaintiff leaving the company where they worked, World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc. Plaintiff and defendant entered into a binding contract to memorialize that agreement entitled Confidential Settlement Agreement, General Release, and Covenant Not to Sue. Plaintiff initially wanted to include a term in the contract mandating that defendant could not move out of their shared building, but defendant refused to include that term and did move out. Huh.
Oh, wow.
McMahon can show that. That's a very big win for him. It goes on to state, plaintiff's contention that their contract between defendant and WWE on the one hand and plaintiff on the other is not enforceable is utterly meritless, but that is an issue for the arbitrator. McMahon writes, in fact, because the parties wish to preserve the confidential and private nature of any disputes under the agreement, they specifically provided in the agreement that disputes would be resolved through arbitration. Plaintiff was represented by a lawyer who negotiated the agreement for her before she executed it. So we have confirmed that the agreement referred to here is what Grant's lawsuit refers to as the NDA. The suit claims that the NDA signed by Miss Grant, McMahon, and WWE was entered into through coercive tactics, and it is legally unenforceable pursuant to federal statute.
So, and that is possible. I've heard of people being forced to sign NDAs, but crazy part is, how can she prove this? This has to be proven in front of a judge, right? And the majority of the time is always her word against his, right? Let us shorty know what y'all think. Like, do y'all believe that Vince McMahon did this? I wouldn't put it past it. I'm going to sit here and be very honest. I wouldn't put it past it. Could he have forced her to do this? Man, he's got the money, the power to do whatever he wants to do. And shit, he said it before. He could do whatever he wants. Right? He's got, listen, man, this man's got so much money in his hands. And if he did this, they need to throw away the key. Like, that's some fucked up shit. I really looked up to this man when I was growing up. Like, businessman. He bought entertainment. Like, damn. Then all these stories started surfacing. And they're just getting worse and worse. But he's being sued for this. How can he even open up another, company?
In common law. Exhibit A attached here too is a true and accurate copy of the NDA. It goes on to say that Ms. Grant was moreover coerced into signing the NDA merely 8 days after she first spoke to an attorney who McMahon initially approved of and then cautioned Ms. Grant against trusting before she was railroaded into rejecting all of her own attorney's comments. This occurred because of relentless pressure, including implicit and explicit threats by McMahon. So Grant argued that the contract should be invalidated because it violates federal law, preventing contracts that permit sexual assault or harassment, and she also argued that the agreement was too broad and that it was signed under duress. Well, let's go back to this new motion from McMahon. Quote, when defendant learned that plaintiff, despite her promises, had violated the agreement by wrongfully disclosing both the existence of the agreement and the relationship, he exercised his contractual right to withhold payment otherwise owed under the agreement. In response, plaintiff sought to harm him. She intentionally violated the enforceable contract with her salacious, false, and defamatory public filing. However...
Wait. So, hold up. I gotta go back. Was Vince McMahon trying to get her to sign this, though, so that he can get away with, doing, sexually assaulting her? Because that's what it's seeming like. Like, hold up.
Law preventing contracts that permit sexual assault or harassment, and she also argued that the agreement was too broad and that it was signed under duress. Well, let's go back to this new motion from McMahon. Quote, when defendant learned that plaintiff, despite her promises, had violated the agreement by wrongfully disclosing both the existence of the agreement and the relationship, he exercised his contractual right to withhold payment otherwise owed under the agreement. In response, plaintiff sought to harm him. She intentionally violated the enforceable contract with her salacious, false, and defamatory public filing.
Well, if Vince McMahon, even though they in a relationship, right? Okay, he made her sign this NDA, right? Right, I get that. She's not supposed to disclose anything that they do on the job, blah, 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 or, anything they talk about, right? All right, understandable. But that doesn't mean that she's got to shut up if you sexually assault her and she didn't want it. Or if you did something that she didn't want and she said no to, and to you, it means yes. That's not what this is for. And if he was using that, to do that against her, Yo, man, give him life in prison. Why don't y'all give him the death penalty? Y'all put a dog down for having rabies, right? I mean, and I say it for each and every one. Like, shit, hashtag, we building caskets up in this John.
However, the FAA and binding United States Supreme Court precedent and plaintiff's own agreement require that if plaintiff wishes to proceed with her fictitious claim, she must do so in arbitration, not in this court, and that this action should be stayed pending arbitration. Stayed means a pause, that the lawsuit would be paused while they go through the arbitration process. By the way, arbitration clauses are written into contracts because arbitration is a preferred method of resolving disputes than going to court. It saves time, it saves money. You usually see a faster resolution. But McMahon continues in his filing. For the avoidance of doubt, defendant vehemently and categorically denies all allegations of wrongdoing in the complaint, including plaintiff's outrageous claims that defendant coerced plaintiff into unwanted sexual acts, sexually assaulted and or battered her, trafficked her, and defecated on her. Those are false statements intended for publicity. The allegations and claims will be disproven, and plaintiff will be exposed for the liar she is. Wow. So that is just part of the preliminary statement to kick off the 29-page filing. I'm not going to go through absolutely everything, but there were several parts that stood out to us that I want to call out. So they dive a little bit into Grant's background, mentioning that she lived in LA for a few years to try to pursue a career in acting. She won an auction to be featured in the film Who Wants to Be a Movie Star, and she starred as a receptionist in the movie The Theory of Everything. The attorneys claim that just before the relationship ended around January of 2022, Grant sent him that letter. Then they started negotiating how much she would be paid to keep quiet. According to assertions from this filing, the negotiations went like this. McMahon offered Grant a monetary consideration in the range of $1 million to $1.5 million. Grant countered by saying that wasn't enough because she hadn't made it all the way to vice president, which was her career goal. She negotiated the price to $3 million, but wanted a large lump sum. The filing states, quote, a compromise was ultimately reached such that, as the agreement states, the first $1 million was to be paid upon the execution of the agreement, and the rest was to be paid in 4 installments. That payment plan was set to give Grant $500,000 in February of each year, 2023 to 2026, and if she did not stick to the confidentiality agreement, McMahon wouldn't have an obligation to pay her anymore and would want the money that he'd already sent returned back. The next section of the filing is the agreement's release of claims. It states, quote,
so that means, yo, this is slick. Do y'all believe that he did this to her, or do y'all think that she's just chasing a bag? Do y'all think that she could get away because he's already got a lot of lawsuits on him? And I'm not defending him, right? And even though I have a past, you see where I'm coming from? It doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here, she's a woman, let me defend her. No, man, because it's been proven, it's for some reason people go by this little phrase, believe all women. I don't think it's believe all women, but everything in me is telling me she's telling the truth. But then again, it's like, I want him behind bars if he assaulted me, if he did this to me. If I said no and he did something, and went against my will, I'll fuck this money. If it comes as a plus, put this motherfucker in jail. For me, the only solution is building caskets.
The parties mutually agreed to release any claims they may have against one another. Specifically, plaintiff agreed, among other things, to release defendant of all claims she ever had as a result of or in connection with her employment relationship with WWE, the termination of that employment relationship, and or any and all matters involved in her relationship with McMahon and or other WWE personnel. Then, in all caps, it says, by signing this agreement, Grant acknowledges that she will have waived any right she may have had to pursue or bring a lawsuit or make any legal claims against McMahon and or WWE and or any of its directors, officers, employees, agents, and representatives. Actually, there were multiple sections in the agreement that said basically that, just using different words or phrases. They made it very clear that Grant couldn't file a lawsuit like this if she wanted to abide by the agreement. And by the way, she signed the agreement. You saw the signature. Now, you might be saying, what exactly was she not supposed to disclose? Well, according to the agreement, any information about McMahon, her relationship with McMahon, WWE, any employees or independent contractors of WWE, she wasn't even permitted to reveal this agreement even existed. Now, there are two ways to interpret why this confidentiality agreement was even necessary in the first place. On one hand, you could say, Vince McMahon's a public figure. He's having an affair. He didn't want anybody to know. Celebrities in general are very careful about details of their personal lives.
Yeah, but so just because she had this agreement doesn't stop her from being able to talk on, a sexual assault. I don't think so. I think he was being slick. I wonder if there is. I'm not a lawyer. I wonder if what she's saying is true, right? If there's a way around that NDA.
Coming out and being exposed, And she also worked at the organization. She learned things. She learned information regarding the company. So it's important that she sign this. On the other hand, she is accusing him of some truly horrific and vile stuff. Is it a bit suspicious that she signed this? What exactly did he not want to come out? In the next section, the filing goes into even more detail about the arbitration provision. The agreement also contains a broad arbitration clause, which requires that the parties must first attempt to resolve any dispute arising under or out of this agreement. Its construction, interpretation, application, performance, or breach contains an arbitration clause informally. If that attempt is unsuccessful, the arbitration clause mandates that the sole and exclusive legal method to resolve any and all disputes and or controversies is to commence binding arbitration under the Federal Arbitration Act. In a footnote for this section, the attorneys say this: in this lawsuit, Grant is contending that the confidentiality provision is unenforceable. Defendant therefore reserves the right to, at the appropriate time and in the appropriate forum, demand that plaintiff return the monetary compensation of $1 million, which defendant had already paid plaintiff under the agreement. Motion cites multiple prior rulings and case studies, case law to support the arbitration clause. It also cites state laws saying under Connecticut law, when an agreement is reduced to writing and signed by all the parties, the agreement itself is substantial evidence that a meeting of the minds has occurred. That's a big term in contract law. Not only did the parties sign the agreement, they were represented by counsel when the agreement was formed. Plaintiff also unequivocally represented that she entered into the agreement knowingly and voluntarily. She understood the agreement and its effect, and her lawyer explained the terms of the agreement to her. And they also point out again, indeed, plaintiff negotiated the agreement to her advantage. Grant, as I mentioned, wanted to void the agreement based on the Speak Out Act, which is a law that allows victims of sexual assault or sexual harassment to file a lawsuit like this. But according to the filing, McMahon says the Speak Out Act does not prohibit the arbitration of any claims asserted in this case. Based on the text of the statute, Congress intended to limit the application of the Speak Out Act to only non-disclosure clauses and non-disparagement clauses in pre-dispute agreements. They note similar citations for the TVPA. I mentioned that before, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act.
Wait. So Vince McMahon knows the loopholes to this shit. Why would he? See, it's weird. Why would you sign this contract, ma'am? And I mean, could he have forced her? I mean, shit, I can go. I mean, listen, man, I got so many like shit. What was happening? Because he's saying this, she's saying that, but he's known for this. But he's still out here, right? And you know, by law, he's innocent until proven guilty. So I gotta watch what I say at the end of the day. So I gotta keep it neutral. Man, what do y'all think? Let Shorty know in the comments down below.
She sued under that theory that it doesn't void the agreement. For the foregoing reasons, defendant respectively requests that the court grant his motion and compel arbitration of all claims asserted in the complaint and stay the litigation pending arbitration. That is a lot of information to go through. Yes. But the question is there enough there to say that Grant is lying about the abuse? McMahon's attorneys seem to be saying that he didn't do it. And even if he did do it, it wouldn't matter anyway because she violated the agreement by going public with this lawsuit. So now
that's crazy. Yo, it's not making sense because, all right, they're saying he didn't do it because whatever reasons they got, they're not saying it, right? But even if he did do it, she violated. How was she going to speak on what was happening to her if she don't say something? I mean, I'm like, yo, I feel as though he knew what he was doing. This is crazy. But see, if he figured out a loophole, there is a way to, you know, get that loophole taken away. I mean, if you know about laws and rights and stuff like that, there's a way around this loophole that he knows about. Because you know what a loophole is, right? Damn. I would love to hear y'all comments.
Now it's going to be up to the judge to decide whether Grant violated the agreement, if it was voided under TVPA or the Speak Out Act or common law, whether this needs to all go to arbitration, and we will see what happens. We will, of course, continue to follow any developments in this story. That's all we have for you here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast.
So what do y'all think? Do y'all believe that Vince McMahon sexually assaulted this woman, you know, against her will? Oof. I mean,
you may have heard about the shocking sex abuse lawsuit being leveled at WWE boss Vince McMahon by a former employee. The scandal couldn't come at a worse time as the WWE signed a massive $5 billion deal with Netflix. So much is on the line. Everyone at the WWE has reportedly been told to not say a word.
Former WWE employee Janelle Grant accuses McMahon of sexual assault and trafficking. Just this week, McMahon, along with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange to celebrate The Rock joining the board of WWE's new parent company, TKO.
So
Look,
he did.
78-year-old McMahon is almost unrecognizable with dyed black hair and a mustache, a far cry from his heyday. In the lawsuit, Janelle Grant accuses McMahon of sharing sexually explicit photographs and videos of her with the wrestlers and recruiting men to have a threesome at the WWE headquarters, even during working hours, while referring to her as his porn star. To show his domination over her life, the lawsuit claims McMahon texted her, "I'm the only one who owns you and controls who I want to blank you." Last year, McMahon spoke about his legacy.
Let me just say that I made mistakes, obviously, both personally and professionally through my 50-year career.
Why you
I
got
owned
that
up to every single one of them and then moved on.
Now, many are wondering if
He
the
remind me
sordid
of the cartoon
accusations
from
could
back in the
threaten the 10-year, $5 billion deal Netflix just signed for WWE's live streaming rights.
Is Netflix going to dump this deal? I don't think so. But
No,
could
they
they?
don't.
Well, this is Hollywood and anything can happen. But I would not say that anyone's getting out of the ring yet.
A spokesperson for Vince McMahon says the lawsuit is riddled with falsehoods, baseless fabrications of events that never transpired, and a malicious distortion of the truth.
The parent company of WWE says they take the accusers' quote horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing the matter internally.
Ouch. Vince McMahon, what have you gotten yourself into?
We've been covering this from day one. Now
Everybody's covering
Vince and Linda McMahon in a ring boy abuse lawsuit. The details of this are
facts.
Hard to hear.
Well, facts.
Harder for the victims, but it is hard to hear. Okay, let's go to your first profile. According to Rolling Stone, 5 men who worked as quote ring boys for the WWE World Wrestling Entertainment as young teenagers in the 1980s filed a lawsuit alleging that they were groomed for sexual abuse by ring crew, boss, and ring announcer Mel Phillips. Now, who's Mel? On the left. That's Mel Phillips.
Wow.
And did so on the company's watch. The suit, filed by 5 John Does, named WWE, parent company TKO Group Holdings, and WWE co-founders, former executives, Vince and Linda McMahon on the right as defendants. Phillips died actually in 2012. So the suit paints a picture of Phillips as someone to whom the WWE gave unfettered access to kids and the means to abuse them, such as private locker rooms. The plaintiff's allegations have evidence already in the public record pointing to ongoing knowledge of the alleged abuse by those at the top of WWE, especially the McMahons. While there are 2 previously known lawsuits by former ring boys alleging sexual assault against Phillips, this filing marks the first time that the McMahon family has been named personally as defendant. It also directly ties Linda, the co-chair of Donald Trump's 2024 transition team.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that Linda was teamed up with Donald Trump. Oh, snap. Trump, you still in the wrestling business? I did not know that. Holy smoke. Yo, I'm dead. Like Trump, you be in the middle of so much shit too. Listen, Trump, man. I wonder if you're a spy. Because you be exposing all this, but why haven't you exposed these 2? Or you got something up your sleeve? Abracadabra. What is Trump gonna pull out the bag? This is crazy.
To the alleged cover-up of child sexual abuse at a time when far-right influencers are trying to gin up fabricated pedophilia allegations against Tim Walz, ironically. It gets deeper.
Trump, why you in here?
Phil Mushnick wrote in March, in a March 1992 column, that Vince McMahon had told him that, in Mushnick's words, quote, he had let Phillips go 4 years ago because Phillips' relationship with kids seemed peculiar and unnatural, but hired him back after telling him, stay away from the children.
What?
After McMahon and WWE sued Mushnick and the Post a year later for defamation, the veteran sports columnist elaborated in a deposition that McMahon told him that Vince and Linda returned.
I remember this, the boy that they fired and then hired back. My thing is, why you fire him and then hire him back if you like? Look, listen, this Vince McMahon shit. For those of you like, Vince McMahon childhood wasn't easy, and you know, he went a lot. He went through a lot with his stepdad, from what I've heard, and much more. But still, like, you started doing all this when you were older. Like, as a grown ass man, like this right here, like, oh my God. His actions really disgust me. The things, the rumors that I've heard. I say rumors because, like I said, until I don't see the trial, right now, everything is allegedly. Same thing goes with the Diddy case. But shit, he's not far away from Diddy. Like, shit, what the fuck that him and Diddy, go somewhere, make a little contract together and say, yo, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this in my platform. You do this on your platform. Let's see. Like, what? Yo, we building caskets up in this bitch.
Phillips to the organization with the caveat that male steer clear of underage boys. Stop hanging around kids. Stop chasing after kids. Now, what do you have here? All right, obviously, the McMahons, they had no real actual morals and ethics according to their own behavior in other matters. But legally, you have a negligent rehire, ironically, not even negligent retention. The guy was let go and came back. So you do have a legal basis. The lawsuit was later dropped. The only ring boy known to initiate legal action in 1992 was Tom Cole. Now remember, this stretches back. People raised a red flag then, but he settled with the WWE in exchange for a $55,000 settlement and a new job. A 1993 suit after Phillips was fired was dismissed for reasons that are not clear based on the public record. Another ring boy suit in 1999. By all indications, that case too was settled. Both the new lawsuit and David Bixespan's 2020 article also cite multiple examples of former WWE personnel indicating that it was actually common knowledge that Phillips was sexually abusing ring boys. Yet WWE's habit of going scorched earth with legal threats and other influence was documented by the likes of the Village Voice. And
so it seems that everything that was done, every time that something like this was done, Vince McMahon would pay his way out of it. Like, instead of wow. It's basically, nobody's ever going to get justice when they work for people with all this money. For real, for real. Unless you got somebody out there that got money and has a heart, which is rare. But this ain't shocking. It frustrates me with all the evidence and all the proof out there. We have to sit here and say, allegedly innocent until proven guilty, even with the proof out there. And the crazy part is, right, there's so many predators out there, right? Because people think everybody's going to be on that registry. Nah, man, you're not on the registry unless you're caught. So until then, guess what? There's predators out there that we don't know about. And guess what? A lot of people just, sit here and keep it a secret, condone it, let it slide. They shouldn't, but they do.
Pro Wrestling Newsletter 3 Count seemingly scared off national legacy media from covering the ring boy story. So they're saying the reason they went out of their way to protect this one guy had nothing to do with the one guy. Damn sure had nothing to do with protecting children. It had everything to do with sending a message to law firms in general, or people in general who threatened to sue them in general. You got me? All right. So in the new lawsuit, 4 of the 5 men describe abuse taking place the first half of the 1980s, with John Doe 2 saying that his abuse extended into 1989.
Oh, wow.
After Vince McMahon had fired and then rehired Phillips. All 5 describe sexual abuse that began with Phillips targeting them as fans he met at or around shows he was working on, or in social situations near his home in Philadelphia. In the complaint, John Doe 1, a 13-year-old, 1981 and 1982, who was attempting to avoid physical abuse at home, describes a grooming process that began with Phillips giving him access to an arena and locker room area, including a private room over which Phillips had control. The day they met, he alleges Phillips groped his genitals, but tried to play it off like it was a mistake. According to the complaint, a few weeks later, Phillips stripped down to his underwear in his hotel room and, quote, wrestled the boy, suffocating him while disregarding his protests, massaging, the child's legs and licking his bare feet.
What?
This was the start of an escalating cycle of abuse, John Doe 1 alleges. I told you this was difficult, but much more difficult for these victims.
Yo, these people are into some weird, sick, from the Menendez brothers' father to Vince McMahon and all the co-conspirators that Vince McMahon has and all the people he co-conspirated for. Like, Vince, you fired this dude and hired. I have one question. Are you hopping on rainbows, Vince? Are you in the closet like Ray.J? Because Ray.J is next after this. We're in 2024. Instead of doing dumb shit like this, man, be real with who you are. There's someone out there for everybody. And like I tell people, man, I don't care what your sex preference is, right? Man, what you do between closed doors, between them closed doors and them four walls, it's between you and that person that you're with. Just keep the kids out of it. Let the kids be kids. But shit, that's not going to happen until unity exists, right? We're in 2024. Unity is not in community no more.
John Doe 1 provides a lengthy and detailed narrative of the abuse. Quote, approximately 7 to 8 incidents over a 12 to 18-month period, after each of which Phillips allegedly gave him money, told him not to tell his parents. The incidents included Phillips ejaculating on John Doe 1's stomach, quote, painfully manipulating his feet, and then licking them for a long time.
Yo, he a fucking weirdo.
Forcing John Doe 1 to touch Phillips' own genitals with his mouth and hands, and trying to penetrate John Doe 1 after an incident where he alleges that Phillips tried to sexually abuse him and several other boys in a hotel room.
And Vince covered
Doe
for all
says he was so
this.
scared that he cut off contact. John
Wow.
Doe 2, 13 at the time, met Phillips outside of an arena. Now we're in Massachusetts, 1984 in this case. Doe alleged.
What's crazy is that Vince paved the way for this man to do whatever he wanted with these kids. And he did all the way until the day he died. Vince, knowing this, he should go down for it. He's a co-conspirator. He let it happen. He knew about it and didn't do nothing about it. I don't care who gets mad at me. Yo, I'm starting to see a lot of shit. See, I had to see these videos for myself. So listen, man, there's a way to reach me. I left my email in the chat. My Instagram's in the chat. Y'all can always drop videos. You know, I'll review and I'll react with them, with y'all, right? Like, let's do this. That's what we do these podcasts is for. Let's talk about it, right? They're all open panels. Y'all more than welcome to have a conversation with a shorty. Give your opinion, give your perspectives, right? We're not here to judge. We're not here to bring nobody down. Your opinion is your opinion. See, I see it like this. Everybody has it. Listen, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So at the end of the day, I ain't nobody to knock you down for your opinion. We could all have respectful conversations. We could agree to disagree, right? If we're disagreeing shit, we could just leave it at that and keep it pushing. But there's no need to be rude, you know, disrespectful. And I appreciate a lot of y'all. These are open panels. Y'all more than welcome, like I said, once again, to leave y'all comments. Right? Y'all comments really do help a shorty out, whether, you know, y'all believe it or not. What do y'all think about the Vince McMahon case? Do y'all believe that he should go down? Even for the cases that he had nothing to do with it, but he was there. He knew about it and covered up for it. I feel as though he should go down. Everybody that knew about it should go down.
Just that Phillips did not make much of an effort to groom him, quote, after talking about wrestling. Phillips said he wanted a favor and to follow him to the dressing room, according to the complaint. Quote, once there, Phillips threw him to the ground, got on top of him, took off his shoes, and began pulling and twisting his feet and toes in a painful way.
What the fuck? I'm sorry.
Phillips also put John Doe 2's feet near Phillips' crotch, and it felt like he was sexually aroused. Phillips also pressed his hands against the buttocks and groin of John Doe 2. You have evidence of pattern behavior.
What?
In the complaint, John Doe 2 alleges that Phillips continued with similar abuse in other hotel rooms and private arena locker rooms, recording the abuse on his video camera.
Wow.
Quote, Phillips would be able to grab and fondle his feet and body, including.
So you're telling me Vince McMahon was able to buy his way out of this even with video? Vince, are you hopping on rainbows yourself? And if you are, just be real, man. Ain't nobody gonna judge you if you real. Now, if you hiding, you in the DL doing all this shit, yeah, people gonna talk. What the fuck? Yo.
Touching his buttocks between the legs and in the groin, the complaint adds, embedding a photo of Phillips pinning him down with his knee bent back and his foot in Phillips' face. Quote, John Doe 2 witnessed Phillips similarly abuse other young boys, the complaint adds after the photo. He also alleges that Phillips took photos and videos of the abuse. John Doe 3 was living in a foster home, Pennsylvania, when he met Phillips in the early 1980s. When they met, Mel explained who he was, asking if he liked wrestling. Helped him meet a couple of wrestlers and offered to take him to Philadelphia for a show. Reads the complaint. Phillips would pick him up and drive him to Hamburg, Pennsylvania, where the WWE did tapings. WWE's final taping in Hamburg was on May 30th, 1984. So it suggests the abuse took place before then. Quote, Phillips wrestled him to the ground, started squeezing and twisting his feet to make him submit. Reads the complaint's description of one hotel room incident. While wearing nothing but a small t-shirt and underwear, Phillips then got rougher by pinning him on his back. Phillips then rubbed his genitals on John Doe 3's legs and feet until he orgasmed. After they fell asleep in the same bed, John Doe 3 alleges that Phillips grinded up against him until he orgasmed while repeating, quote, it's okay, it's okay. This is sick. The next morning, Phillips drove him home and paid him for his ring crew work. The plaintiff alleges that Phillips would sometimes give him soda that tasted different than normal soda and cause him to become lightheaded, all as a pretext for further sexual abuse. As with John Doe 2, he claims that Phillips shot photographs and videos of the abuse. A confidential witness cited in the complaint described as being a sibling of one of those friends echoed the allegations in an interview with Rolling Stone. The witness recalls that on multiple occasions she witnessed how Phillips would drive to a street, watch the boys play, and show them WWE championship belts that he kept in his car. The witness asked that after Phillips paid the boys out, they sometimes returned drunk. Put up the picture again. Obviously, he lived his life as a monster. I have no bone saying that. But he was amongst monsters who also decided to empower him. You have to understand how important Phillips would seem to a kid. Okay. And he used that disguise. The people who gave him the disguise may not have known he was a pedophile when they hired him, but they damn sure knew he was one when they rehired him, according to the testimony on record. Providing.
Yo, he not lying. He's spitting some gems right here. Yo, shout out to him, man, because it's a shame how these situations, right? When kids and, men, women go through these type of traumas, how easily it could be covered when people got money. How do you fight that? That's what we have to, what's crazy? In unity, we can come up with solutions together like this. But we're so divided that we're crumbling, that we don't see the solutions when they're in our faces.
This sick cause and effect relationship, where at the end of that are damaged young souls. Damn right they need to have responsibility here as well. This is the thoughts.
This case is just horrific, and it is a pattern. We're not talking about just one victim or two victims. We're talking about multiple victims over the course of years, almost a decade. And their justice that they're attempting to get now is even curtailed because Phillips isn't even alive anymore.
Right.
That's a fact. And do you know what's crazy? Listening to this, right? How many victims have passed away holding this secret? How many of them, are not here today, right? Feeling guilty, feeling like, they, oh my God, like something real, like something's been taken from them. How many victims, how many of them probably committed suicide because they couldn't deal with the pressure and what was going on? Like, yo, this man died getting away with what he was doing. If Vince McMahon is guilty for this, they should lock him up and throw away the key. Me personally, I feel as though that he deserves a casket too.
For his crimes and what he did. And the McMahons enabled that. Because even like you said, if they didn't know initially, they knew after. And WWE meant so much to kids. They loved it. It's safe haven. It's fun. It's wrestling. It's guys in funny costumes. They know that the privilege and the access they have to kids, and they abuse that power for just in the worst ways. And it looks like it was a case of greed because once he sued, they let him come back. And they knew what he was doing, and they did nothing to stop it. No one did anything to stop it, and no one protected these boys. It's horrific.
It is. As I said, very difficult story to talk about. And I know it's difficult to watch. And I have to remind myself, my producers have to remind themselves that the victims deserve the voices that we provide.
New developments tonight.
And that is so true. Let me tell y'all something, right? I used to be a victim, right? I went from being a victim to a surviving warrior. That's why, my LLC, for my community center and all that is the Writers for Life, the Surviving Warriors, right? We unite to reunite. That's the name of our nonprofit organization. So we working on a lot of stuff to get that on and pop and to help the youth and stuff and much more. But I could honestly sit here and tell you that at one point I saw myself as a victim, right? All that pain that I had, all that pain that was caused to me, I had to find a way, to turn it into motivation. Because, some kids or, some of the people that experience this type of trauma, right? Some of them take their lives, right? Some boys that experience this trauma end up being, I can't say the word, so, they end up hopping on rainbows. Some girls too, right? Unfortunately. But some boys and some females, right? They don't turn either or. What happens to them is, right? This trauma affects their sex life. It affects their relationship with their partner, especially if their partner doesn't know of their past or understand of their past. You see where I'm coming from, right? And this type of trauma has ruined a lot of relationships, whereas some people will be like, oh, you cheating on me? Why aren't you having sex with me? I'm not turning you on. I'm not enough, and it's not even that. It's that, the PTSD is so bad that during sex, the flashbacks come. And without wanting to, you end up fighting your partner. It's something I suffer from. Whatever partner I'm with has to understand and deal with the fact that, I have a problem when it comes to sex. Like, to me, sex is irrelevant. I can go days without it. I don't think about it. It's out my mind sometimes. Like, listen, man, it's crazy. Be like, how can you go without it? Man, look, like K Michelle says, right? Sex ain't nothing but, a game in your head. On some real shit, a lot of women can get whatever the fuck they want with it when they use it. They can manipulate men, use men with it. I don't. And it's crazy that because of what I went through, it's something that is not in my mind all the time. So it's kind of like, people have made jokes that are very sexual, and I've been slow. I've been late to the game. Like, oh shit, okay. They're like, you're not laughing. Okay, I get what you're saying, but I don't see it as a joke. So it's kind of like certain things that be said around me, and people be like, in their head, in the gutters, mine's ain't there. So it takes me a minute to understand certain things when they're saying it. Yeah, my head is not there. But yeah, it doesn't mean that, just because you've been sexually abused that you're going to be, hopping on rainbows, right? Your life could be affected in a whole different way. Not everybody that goes through this type of trauma, right, ends up turning. You see where I'm coming from? Some of them, some victims end up being abusers. They end up doing what was being done to them. And let me tell you something, right? Sexual abuse, molestation, all that is under the umbrella of bullying, right? You know what a bully is? Somebody that, that thinks that they have the power, right? And they'll sit here and make this person over here feel this little. Bullies come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. And when they're bullying, they do different things. It's not just, oh, I'm going to beat this person. I'm going to pick on this person. Or, I'm going to sit here and guess what? Somebody that is getting sexually assaulted, sexually abused, their predator is a bully. Somebody that, sits here and thinks they got the power to do whatever they want and they can get away with it, when in reality, it's not like that. You could beat your bully. And bullies, all they do, the way they win is by putting fear in somebody. You see where I'm coming from? So at the end of the day, I feel as though this is, it's not something easy to overcome, but with the right support, with the right people around you, right? If you've been through this type of trauma, you could overcome this trauma and, turn that pain into motivation and help the next person that's going through this with your story. I can go about this in so many ways, but, it is really touchy. So we're going to move on to the next subject. We got Ray.J, right? I've been calling out Brandy, right? We're going to take a quick little break, though, real quick. Quick little break. Yeah. So next we're going to be talking about Ray.J and Brandy. Shout out to everybody that's been in the chat rocking out with a shorty. Everybody that's been rocking out with a shorty since day one. I appreciate y'all, man. A shorty wouldn't have made it this far, without y'all support, without y'all helping me bring awareness, without y'all hopping on these panels and talking with a shorty, having these conversations. Man, I want to thank all the, day one subscribers and the new subscribers for, making a shorty a better content creator than what she was yesterday. And that's what I want. That's what I care for. Everybody else that, doesn't care about what's being bought, what we're bringing awareness to, y'all don't have to be here. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So shout out to everybody, that's rocking out with a shorty and being respectful, having conversations, giving her their opinions, and much more. Shout out. To Pink and Rag and Bone. That was a beautiful song, yo. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, yo. I've been asking for a while, where in the world is Brandy, yo? I wish Commander was in here, yo, man. Shout out to Commander. Word, when you see this, I would love to see you do a live on this, man. You could even grab this video and do a reaction. I would love for you to do a reaction on this. I know you don't do reactions to videos that people have already done, but snap, we would love for you to do this reaction because I know Commander gonna be there. So I know Commander will hop right up there and do a reaction to this video. Yo. So I left the link down below for anybody that wants that video, man. So we got this video, right? The other day I was watching this. Shout out to It's Only Entertainment, right? Lately I know I've been doing a lot of celebrity gossip. Ray.J's been getting himself involved in a lot of stuff. I always say this, right? I don't care what your sex preference is. Once again, man, if you doing that, if you like that, just be real with it. People will respect you more if you're real with it instead of being on a DL with it and manipulating and lying and scamming and doing all this type of shit. So apparently Ray.J has been, chasing Nicki Minaj around. Nicki Minaj tells Ray.J to come out the closet and discuss down low men in the music industry. So, I mean, listen, they say don't ask a question if you don't really want the answer to your question, right? So Ray J has found himself in a predicament where Brandy cannot save him at all. Brandy has been, Brandy's been in the shadows. Brandy's been quiet as hell. Ray J's been called out. He's been calling people out. He's been doing a hell of a lot of stuff lately, man. I don't know about y'all. Damn, Ray J, man, I told you, come out, boo. We still gonna love you. Just be real with yourself. But let's hear what they got to say.
I've been a barb. You know that. I thought I was a part of this whole movement. Like now, my heart dropped. Like if you a diehard barb and then like you like feel like the ticket was like revoked or it was discontinued. I'm like, damn, that.
He's saying he's a diehard barb. Now, let me ask you. I asked my baby pops. He said never in the world will he say some shit like that or even consider himself something like that, right? He thought that, the diehard barbs were all women and people, that were part of the LGBT community and stuff like that. Never in the world would I mean, I can't be shocked. I think he's been trying to come out the closet ever since he confronted Candace Owens. And Candace Owens threw these questions at him that, Ray J couldn't answer. I'm going to sit here and be honest. And I said it. I was like, come out, boo. Just come out. Like, we know they say Ray J was from the streets, but, we know that, even if you're from the streets, for some reason, some way, they still turn you out. So it seems that Ray J's been turned out. I mean, he wants to come out with it. He just don't know how to. We're in 2024. It shouldn't be that hard, but I see why. For him, I think it's going to be more shame and embarrassment, which he shouldn't have. If that's what you are, that's what you are. You want to come from, nobody could judge you but you. But people let people get in their ears and this and that. But just be real, man. You'll be respected and loved more for that. For real, for real.
I don't know, man. That'll send you like it'll do something to you. So I'm happy that you reach out back and let me come on live because am I not a barb? I can't be a barb. I mean, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm a barb.
You reached out. You were commenting on my live while I was talking to my
a lot.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Nikki.
What's up?
But I'm a barb. And is
good for you. What's up?
That's how your barb. That's how you treat your barbs.
No.
Like Nikki, what's up?
What's up?
Nikki, something serious though.
What's up?
I don't.
You too.
I was just in here. I was in here just like.
Do y'all think that this is something that, really happened? This is an Instagram live. Do y'all think this is a script or Ray J is really trying to come out?
Everybody else just having a good time. Innocently in here, just responding, having a good time, enjoying the vibe. And then now I'm just like totally like almost exiled because somebody that I'm like into as an artist is telling me like that they not being right to me. It's not fair. That's not cool.
I didn't know that you were doing auditions still. I didn't know that you had a script.
For what? I didn't even know. Like, this is all a surprise to me. If I knew I was gonna be on here, I would have had a different outfit on. I got my pajamas on. Like, I'm like, this is like the way I'm being treated.
Ray J's crying out for help.
I didn't know you were a comedian either.
For real, Nick. I'm sorry, Nikki. But I'm a super barb, and
yo, I'm sorry her face is priceless.
My own nickname, but
excuse me.
I'm sorry.
When you speak to me, refer to me as Mrs. Petty.
Oh shit!
You're right, Mrs. Petty.
Are you married?
She said, "Put some respect on my name. When you refer to me, I'm Mrs. Petty." Is she gonna get petty with him? Oh shit! I mean, Nikki's known for being petty too, so. Ooh.
Are you married?
Yes, but almost not.
You're about to get divorced.
Like we going through a divorce.
Okay, well, you're married, so you understand that, right?
I was. Right now, we separated, so I can't claim because I don't want her to get mad at me.
You understand?
Yes, you're right. Miss Petty.
Mrs.
Mrs. Petty. No, I did.
Put
I
some
just had a
respect
list.
on my
I'm sorry.
name.
I'm saying, what do you want? You've been trying to get my attention for the last couple
Ooh.
weeks, right?
Yo, she trying to say Ray.J been stalking her. Ray.J, calm down, man. Like, you ain't learned your lesson with Candace. Candace sat your ass down. You can't even answer her questions. Like, now you over here. You went from Candace Owens to trying to sue Jaguar Ray to having a fight with Diddy's son. Argument. Almost a fight, they say. I wasn't there. So all that is allegedly with Diddy's sons, right? Because they confronted him. And now you over here on Nicki Minaj's platform claiming to be a full-pledged, is it fledged or pledged? I'm going to say full-pledged Barbie. Like, is he serious? Is he trying to say, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world made out of plastic? He's so fantastic. Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, Ray.J, just come out.
The first time was when you said you were signing artists. I hit you and said, well, sign me. I'm independent. And then you was
You
on
to do
live.
what? Sign you to do what? That seemed pretty odd out of nowhere.
Well, I'm independent. So I feel like, and I'm just keeping it real. This on everything. Like, if you sign me, I'll be super lit. And that's just a fact. But, you know, and so I like I always do, I try. That's all I can do is just keep trying. And so tonight I came on and said, Nicki's live.
Do you think all of this is funny?
I promise you, I don't have, like, I'm not chuckling at all. And whoever laughing, stop laughing.
No, I'm not talking about them laughing. They can laugh. I'm saying you, without me speaking on anything. Do you think it's all funny?
I promise you, know, everything I do.
How do you feel about yourself?
I feel good.
You feel good?
I feel great, actually.
Yo.
But I feel hurt. No, but I feel hurt.
Do you feel sorry for anything?
Yes.
Do you have remorse for anything?
A lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. So
and I want to take accountability too.
Okay.
Accountability for what?
I do.
For what?
I want to take accountability for everything I did and everything I've done. And I want to be a better person. And I want to be a better Barb.
A better Barb. Why you keep calling himself a Barb though?
Because obviously I did something that has kind of got me outside of VIP, which I'm cool with. I'm happy to just be in here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what can I do to get back inside of like the real world? Because
the real world,
and you on.
Yo, you talking about being a freaking Barbie girl. A full-fledged Barbie girl. That's fantasy world. That's a whole world made of damn plastic. Like, is Ray.J serious? I think Ray.J's really asking for help.
On the phone with
You've never done Ray.J, you've never done anything to me. You've never disrespected me in any way. I've never done anything wrong to me.
Okay, because I knew I didn't. And I always supported you. And my favorite song in the whole world is the one with you, Wayne and Drake, where it goes, yeah, yeah. You remember it? Like, and then one of my like good, like biggest moments career-wise was when
Right now, I'm sorry. Listen, Ray.J, I can't listen. I don't know if I should take you seriously or if you playing around. But I think you really do want to come out the closet though. But my thing is, why is you beating around the bush? Why are you not being real with yourself, huh? Why? Why is you out here? I'm sorry, Ray.J, but just come out. I'm sorry, boo. I'm not gonna have sympathy for you. Come out. You too grown for this shit. You just seeking attention everywhere. Everywhere.
you reposted that shit and it got like 500 million views on the story.
What?
When I was in the car and I was playing the song. I mean, you probably repost a lot of people's stuff, but you reposted one of my videos where I was playing your song. Mm-hmm. And I was happy about it.
Oh, I don't remember, but if you did, I appreciate that.
That's what I'm saying.
Support.
Yeah, I think it really happened.
What really happened? Ray J be all over the place.
I
Was
want
you
to
just fighting in the club?
Uh-oh.
Or is that a joke too?
I promise you, like, I don't know when the last time you thought I was joking. Everything I've been saying, like, it's been 1000% authentic with no joke and no chuckle to it. I'm a Cap, Mrs. Petty, Mrs. Petty. I'm a Capricorn, and honestly, I fully support Nicki Minaj.
This don't got. Why you keep on talking about Nicki Minaj?
Okay.
This has nothing to do with Nicki Minaj or
Okay.
bars.
Okay, so let's. Okay.
So again, you came on my live. You were saying, you kept on commenting. You had DM'd me a while ago, I want to know what it is that you want to speak to me about. Like,
I want you to sign me.
Okay, sing something.
It's not about that. It's not about singing.
What?
It's not about signing as an artist.
The fuck are you talking about, nigga?
Yo.
Well, I can't do the singing, dancing, the oopty doopty no more. I got something bigger in play. I'm saying I got something bigger in play that I want you to sign me on. It's a multimedia play. It's a multimedia play that I wanted you to sign me on. You know, that has something to do with technology, that has something to do with AI.
God will take care of my needs, and anything that I need, I will have it. Okay. So I wish you the best. Thank you for thinking about me to be a business partner of yours, but no, thank you, sir.
Oh shit.
It wasn't about being a business partner. You was gonna sign me. I was gonna go out and do what I do best.
You know something? You know what I noticed about this industry? I noticed that so many people think that
like, don't do that to me. Don't say what you about to say. Just don't, because I don't want to be hurt with what you're gonna say, because I'm really a bard. This would be heartbreaking.
I don't know, but it seemed like Ray J is begging. Like I don't know if he's hit rock bottom or what. If this is, some type of script that went down on, I don't know. I mean, Nicki Minaj is rude as shit to him. Like, she is being rude as shit from the gate. I mean, she was. I mean, I don't know if she's like that. She is. They say that she's known to be sophisticated. So, I mean, I'm not sure. So, But Ray J, you hear begging and pleading your case, and it's like she really don't want to hear you. But let's continue and listen to their conversation. Let us shorty know in the comments below, what do you think about Ray J? I mean, do y'all think that he's being a little needy right here? I haven't heard nothing about him being at rock bottom, him or Brandy. So I mean, usually Brandy comes to his rescue, but like I said, she's somewhere in the shadows being a ninja. I guess she'll come out when it gets deep because I don't know. Ray J, you seem to be getting yourself in a lot of shit lately. For real. What's up, man? You need some counseling.
Please don't hang up on me. Like, don't hang up either. Just end me.
I just don't. Let me tell you something. I haven't started signing people yet, and we don't have our we haven't signed our deal with a third party. But to me, integrity is very important. Who you are as a human being is important to me.
That's true.
It should be.
Okay. And so I just hope that you are happy with yourself. No judgment, because I am not God. I'm not in the position to tell anybody about it. I just I hope that you can look yourself in the mirror and always be happy with your choices that you've made.
Facts.
Everybody needs a little help sometimes through the process. But yes, I'm looking at myself now. If I had on a wig, I would want to date myself.
What?
That's how happy I am with myself. But I don't.
Are you coming out of the closet?
No. I was just
when?
talking.
When will you?
He said if I had a wig, I would date myself, right?
Please don't hang up on me. Like, don't hang up either. Just end me.
I just don't. Let me tell you something. I haven't started signing people yet, and we don't have our we haven't signed our deal with a third party. But to me, integrity is very important. Who you are as a human being is important to me.
I mean, it should be.
It should be.
Okay. And so I just hope that you are happy with yourself. You know, no judgment, because I am not God. I'm not in a position to tell anybody about it. I just I hope that you can look yourself in the mirror and always be happy with your choices that you've made.
Everybody needs a little help sometimes through the process, but yes, I'm looking at myself now. If I had on a wig, I would want to date myself. That's how happy I am with myself.
I'm looking at myself now. If I had a wig, I would date myself. I mean, the way Nicki Minaj would have said it, I mean, if you made any wrong decisions, don't, feel guilty, or, whatever you felt like you didn't accomplish, you're going to be able to accomplish. I mean, I don't know, but it ain't, I don't, in a way, she could have been talking about everything, but he took it towards, if I had a wig. I mean, is you happy with your sexuality, Ray.J? I respect those that, are out there with it, like that say, I'm this. You see where I'm coming from? And don't mess with the kids or fuck with the kids' heads trying to make them what they're not. But I respect somebody that says, yo, this is what I am and I stand on it. We're in 2024 and I'm trying to figure out, why is Ray.J being scared? Like, I mean, a lot of people already thought it, especially when he went, face to face with Candace Owens. Like, and I'm gonna keep saying that. The live is still up. Like, listen, man, Ray.J, just come out the closet. That's it. That's it. And if, your mom or your dad feel some type of way, just put the Eminem song. I'm sorry, mama. I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to break your heart. But tonight, you gotta clean out your closet, dude.
So, but I don't.
Are you coming out of the closet?
No. I was just
When?
talking.
When will you?
I can't.
Huh?
I can't. If there's nothing in the closet, I can't come out with it. But shout out to the agency. I do have a agency.
He said first, I can't. First, he said I can't. So listen, once again, and I said this before, and I'm gonna continue to say it. Right? He said I can't. Then he said there's nothing in the closet to come out to. Right? And then he said, but I do got a agency. And he's been promoting that for the longest, right? And I don't know if it's because, Nicki Minaj has a large base of fans that are from that community, right? So listen, like I said, your sex preference is your sex preference. Just don't mess with the kids' heads, right? Like, let kids be kids. But in the era that we're in, why can't you come out? Especially you being somebody that is the founder of a agency. And more agencies like that. You even got a TV show with transgenders in it. So if you're like that, why are you keeping it on the down low? Is it because your whole life, you've been seeing with women? So then if it's like that, my question would be this, right? Were the women the cover up? Were these women the cover up, to hide the fact that you really was into men? Because it's like, I don't know. It's been a minute. I've been saying it. He's been talking like this, and it feels like he wants to come out with it, just doesn't know how to. He could probably be ashamed, embarrassed. I don't know. In this era, if you that, you that. That's it. Simple as that. Man, there's people like me that ain't going to judge, and there's people out there that are, right? Me, I just can't say the GAY word because they'll strike my live. You see where I'm coming from? So I have to say hopping on rainbows. I have to find ways around certain things because I've had lives taken down. YouTube says I go against YouTube guidelines when I do that. So I signed a contract with them. I got to, do what I got to do. But hopefully y'all understand where I'm coming from. I'm not here to judge nobody, bash nobody, bring nobody down. But at the end of the day, it's too many things going on with the men on the down low. You see where I'm coming from? For Ray.J to be, doing all this. Like, I don't know if that's why Nicki is saying, are you taking this as a game? I don't know if I should take you serious. And I feel as though that too. Like, I don't know if I should take him serious, or, is he doing this because of his show and the agencies that he has? Or if he's really like that and is trying to find a way out and doesn't know how to. You see where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know. I'm not him. I'm not. But even Nicki Minaj is looking at him like, are you? Like, just come out if you are. We're in 2024 once again. Let us shorty know what y'all think, in the comments down below. If you're enjoying the content, the stream, the live, hit that smash that like button for a shorty, right? Share the video. Let's keep bringing awareness to, different topics. And if you're not subbed up, make sure you are, because the shorty doesn't schedule lives. I just pop up.
The what? The agency. It's a full-on agency that focuses on LGBTQI plus talent. We've been in business for like 2 years. Well, I do have the agency, but I don't indulge, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to the agency.
Let me ask you something, Ray.J. What do you think about the undercover community?
I think that if you roll in undercover, right, there's no need to, because I think the opportunities are endless if the truth can set you free. So if that's what you like to do, that's why we started the agency, and that's why I'm an advocate for the agency.
You started that?
With Rob.
So then if he's going through this, why isn't he taking his own advice? Like, see, this is why I'm saying, like, is he taking this shit as a joke, or is he really like this? Because growing up, I used to, Ray.J's from the streets, but then look at Meek Mills. He's here from Philly. He was from the streets. He's a rapper. And look at what he's being caught up in the middle of. So it's like, man, when I look at Ray.J, it's like, listen, is he in the middle of this case too? Does anybody know that? Because I haven't really, I seen what I seen on Netflix, but see, Netflix be, Tubi, Netflix, all these apps where you watching stuff, it's like they'll twist and add shit and take stuff from it. So unless you see the actual interviews and trials and shit like that, it's different. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm trying to figure out, is Ray.J caught up in the middle of this Diddy scandal and he's doing all this to like cover up for whatever might be coming? I don't know. This is just a random thought. I'm just thinking, hey, I appreciate everybody that's watching a shorty, that's rocking out with a shorty, because y'all don't have to be here, but y'all chose to be here. So let's continue.
Rod and Dumpin' D. With Tarod and Dumpin' D. And then I also have the Girls Club, which is a full transgender show on my network, Tronics, and it's 13.
Oh, so that's what you've been doing. You've been trying to interact with me to promote your shows, I guess.
No, right? You was talking about gayness, and you were and so I had to tell you that I got a full on, like, I have a full network that supports that. That's all I was saying. But I'm not. But I got a lot of friends. That's all I was saying. I didn't mean to promote nothing. I'm so sorry.
I know you do have a lot of friends. Me personally, Ray.J, I love that I never felt the need.
Wait, she got muted. Is she muted on purpose?
It muted. It's something.
Oh, it is over
there. I hear the last
I-
thing you said. I'm so sorry.
I'm happy that
what in the world?
Been thirsty for friends.
Me?
For friends, like, and partying and meeting people. And, I've never needed all of that stuff to be happy. Partying.
You said that's what I did?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
I said I'm happy that I never needed that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, you're Nicki Minaj.
Yo, he really praising
for
her.
sure. No, you iconic.
Huh?
And I just want you iconic, and I just want to be
Remember,
Rayconic.
she's Miss Petty. Put some respect.
I need you to help
me.
me. Help me be Rayconic.
So now, are you finished promoting everything you wanted to promote?
I promise you.
I'm used to this.
I didn't promote nothing. We were talking
running
about
me down on my live
we
and
were
stuff.
talking about
stuff.
I promise we were talking about coming out of the closet, and I just let you know I fully.
And I said, have you?
And that's why I said no, but I have the gauge.
Shit, I ain't used to it, Nicki Minaj. Not yet. But I need to get used to it ASAP because I almost fell for, bullshit here on social media once. I get you. I get you. See, I had somebody on here talking about, I want to make changes. I want to be positive. I want to make YouTube great again. But turned out they want to be in the same bullshit, bringing back the same lame old dumb shit that's been left in the past. So I get you. I get you. Ray.J, man, you got Nicki Minaj over here confused as shit. She don't know if to take you serious, if to take you as a joke. Like, damn. She just think you're using her to promote your shit. And she thinks you need to come out out the closet. Like most of us think. I mean, Nicki's only said on here, even though she may sound a little rude and obnoxious, like some people say, right? When she talks, she do sound a little rude sometimes. But I don't know if it's that because she's sophisticated, as they say. That's why she sound like that. I'm not sure. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. So, hey, I don't know. I guess. But Ray.J, I don't know. This is my opinion. I don't know how others feel. They could leave their comments down below. Like I said before, I feel like you're being needy. I don't know if you're seeking attention, right? And the feeling of you being on the low is still there. I don't know. I think you just should. Brandy, come get your brother. Like I'm trying to find the right words because I don't want YouTube to strike me. Brandy, come get him.
See, and I don't need to because I can't. Because if I was, I would. Because I would be happy. I'd be way more up.
Really?
I think so because it'd just be a different world that I could experience. But unfortunately, it's just not going in that hole.
Experience. I've never heard a straight man say this. It could be a different world that I could experience. I would love to hear from all the straight men out here, not the ones that are on the down low and say they're straight, real straight men, right? Would the LGBT community is something y'all would like to experience? I don't have a problem with them. I got a lot of friends that are in that community. You see where I'm coming from, right? But they honest about who they are, what they want in life. You see where I'm coming from? They're not out here playing, and you see, and they're not even seeking attention. But there's people out there that are LGBT, right? But they're out here seeking attention, doing this and doing that, and fucking with the kids' heads, and it's like, ugh. So it's kind of like, you even got the people that are, GAY, as they say, right? Fighting with people in the LG, this is crazy. It gets very touchy, very hard to talk about because, like I said, I don't want to offend nobody. I don't. Those are not my intentions. I'm just here to bring awareness to this shit. But with so many things happening right now with the men being on the low and all these, how can I say it? All these men being unalive nowadays because they're lying about being transgender or because they've lied to their women and, their wife is or girlfriend or fiance is the cover up of them being in a secret relationship with another man. Men have, have their lives have been lost due to that, due to these lies, these games. Like, this shit is not funny. It's not a joke. Women have been traumatized behind this shit. And even though, there's going to be comedians out here that make jokes and stuff like that, but they know what they're doing, right? They know how to turn something crazy into something funny, right? But there's people out here that are not comedians that are really taking this shit to a whole nother level. But, shout out to those people that are out there that are real, that are not, that are not scared to be who they really are, right? You see where I'm coming from? They don't lie about it. They don't scam people. They don't, hurt people just to keep a secret like this. But, if he's not, then, and he's just trying to promote the little agency that he has and stuff like that, because he's got a lot of them, then listen, Ray.J, there's other ways to go about this because, people are not going to take you serious. But honestly, deep down, I feel as though you're trying to come out the closet. Just come out. That's it. Let everybody know. Your sister not going to be mad at you. I think if anything, she'll sit down and have a talk with you. That's it.
It's just not. But it's not wrong with whoever,
this
whatever.
Is a court. Do you enjoy having sex with women?
Yes, I do.
Why you
but I like talking too. Every now and then.
Huh?
I like talking, to certain some of my friends, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But
What do
yeah,
you
I do like
mean?
meaning like I do have conversations, and conversations are important, but fucking is probably, probably when you at your best time with somebody, like connecting the dots. Yeah. So yes, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Actually, I love it. If we're just being honest, I enjoy it a lot.
Enjoy what?
Having a good time with a beautiful woman, preferably, my ex-wife, but it just unfortunately right now we just trying to figure it out. But God bless, we co-parenting really good.
God bless what?
God bless us co-parenting really good.
Amen.
So we can just co-parent, and then and I can be.
I don't think you're getting your wife back with all the cheating you've been doing and all the lying. I don't think you're getting that one back. You messed up. That's what I'm saying. Like, your actions and your behavior, if what's happening right now on this live is true, if what Nicki Minaj suspects and what a lot of us females suspect is true, just come out the closet, because it kind of like adds up for real if you look at it.
What who is your God?
All things are centered around us, this guy, right? So it's not like you got Allah, you have God, you have Jesus. Everything is the higher power. So it's just about the higher power. That's all. It's about, because I'm not a human.
What? This nigga said I'm not a human.
I'm a manifest sapien. I'm a manifest sapien. I'm a manifest sapien. You still there?
Manifest ABN your ass the fuck up off my motherfucking phone. Cause every time I ask you a question.
I said, who is my God? And I said, all gods is God. And then I said, I'm not human. I'm a manifest sapien. I manifest. So I'm not human. I'm more alien. That's all. And I don't want to. Did I step over? Did I say something wrong, Nikki?
Well,
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm having a good time. Like I'm having a really good time right now, and I'm not gonna lie. And whenever you want to like cut me off of here, just don't. Right now we just trying to figure it out. But God bless, we co-parenting really good.
God bless what?
God bless us co-parenting really good.
Amen.
So we can just co-parent, and then and I can be the best.
Who is your God?
All things are centered around us, this guy, right? So it's not like you got Allah, you have God, you have Jesus. Everything is the higher power. So it's just about the higher power. That's all. It's about, because I'm not a human. I'm not a human. I'm a manifest sapien. I'm a manifest sapien. I'm a manifest sapien. You still there?
Manifest ABN your ass the fuck up off my motherfucking phone. Cause every time I ask you a question.
I said, who is my God? And I said, all gods is God. And then I said, I'm not human. I'm a manifest sapien. I manifest. So I'm not human. I'm more alien. That's all. And I don't want to. Did I step over? Did I say something wrong, Nikki?
Yo, bless his heart. Bless his little heart, because Nikki is looking at him like he's crazy. We're about to get back to the video, but real quick, right? Let me tell y'all how Ray.J is really feeling, okay? Real quick. Blessings, Grayson. Welcome to the live, yo. If I laugh here and there, I'm sorry. It's that Ray.J, yo. I swear to God, it's like talking to a 13-year-old that is just learning about all this stuff. It's just learning about sex, about transgenders, about all this stuff. Like, Yes, bless his heart. I didn't even listen. We were saying the same thing. Bless his heart, yo. I understand. I understand. I don't know what's up with Ray.J, but Brandy, you need to come get your brother. Something's really wrong with him. He's gonna really need you to save him. All right. So we're gonna play another like 6-10 minutes of this video, right? And then we're gonna do part 2 tomorrow because this shit is crazy. I don't know. Should I finish this whole thing? I should, right? Let's see if we can get it over and done with today. Ray.J, Brandy, come get your brother, yo.
Well, like I'm gonna keep it real. I'm having a good time. Like I'm having a really good time right now, and I'm not gonna lie. And whenever you want to like cut me off of here, just don't hang up in my face. Just give me a good exit. Like don't like you know what I'm saying as a barb. Just don't you know what I'm
Why do
saying?
you keep calling yourself a barb?
Right.
Stop.
Okay. That's not
Why,
okay.
Ray.J?
I'm a barb.
Yo, he in his
Like
feelings
if
right
I'm not,
now.
I live, but that don't mean that I'm alive because I'm alive as fuck. You taught me that.
What?
To live doesn't mean you're alive. I'm alive. I'm living, but I'm lit. You taught me that. You.
Is he confessing
And
to
thank you.
Nicki?
I didn't mean to stand up like that, but I have to believe in myself.
Yo.
What happened with your career earlier in the beginning when you put out an amazing album with One Wish?
It was
What the fuck
independent.
you wearing?
I can't see it. Like now I really want to see everything. These are my glasses. I'm a 3.0. But I'm not selling these. I got these from CVS.
What the fuck is wrong with
Soldier
Ray.J?
Boy, we had spoken about Undercover Brothers before.
Okay.
And
shout out to the Undercover Brothers. I feel like the Undercover Brothers should just take the cover off.
Thank you. And that's what we want to hear you say.
Take the cover off, brothers. Unfortunately, if that's you want me to take the cover off, I can't. I can't make myself take a cover off. I'm sorry, but I can't. But shout out to the agency.
Did he just admit? Did he just? Yo, I need people to leave that. Yo, I mean, I don't need y'all. I want y'all to leave y'all comments, yo, for real, to see if I'm the only one that's thinking the way that I'm thinking. I just want to sit and compare some notes. Like, is he in the closet? What do y'all think? Come on, man. Leave y'all comments in the leave y'all comments down below, man.
With your career earlier in the beginning when you put out an amazing album with One Wish.
It was
What the fuck
independent.
you wearing?
I can't see it. Like now I really want to see everything. These are my glasses. I'm a 3.0. But I'm not selling these. I got these from CVS.
He said I'm not selling these. She didn't even ask you that.
Soldier Boy, we had spoken about Undercover Brothers before.
Okay.
And
shout out to the Undercover Brothers. I feel like the Undercover Brothers should just take the cover off.
Thank you. And that's what we want to hear you say.
Take the cover off, brothers. Unfortunately, if that's you want me to take the cover off, I can't. I can't make myself take a cover off. I'm sorry, but I can't. But shout out to the agency. You know?
Well, I guess, you know, when you're bisexual, some people don't even look at it as if they're
Yeah. Come on,
Yeah,
Ray.J. That's what you are.
I think that's in there too, though. Pause. I mean, it is in there. It's in there, but
you don't have
well, it was in there. And
I bet it was in there.
Well, it wasn't in there.
I don't know how long it was in there, but
no, I don't think it was ever in there.
Yo, did Nicki Minaj just throw some shots at him? Is she roasting him on the low? I think Nicki is roasting him on the low. Like, I would too. Like, yo, stop playing around with this shit and just be real with yourself, man. Ain't nobody gonna judge you. And the ones that judge you, the fuck? Their opinion, like, it should be irrelevant to you. An opinion is opinion. Like, shit. An opinion is like assholes. Everybody got one. Like, yo, he puts himself in these predicaments to the point where Brandy has to come rescue him. I don't know where she's at, But pretty soon you're gonna see her pop out like, hiya, hiya. You okay, little bro? Real shit.
Tried to add Soldier Boy, but it couldn't come on. Anyway, but it's not about that right now. I just wanted you to make sure.
I think what hole people want to be in is totally up to them, right? And I think that if people show up to work on time, if you are dedicated to your dream
These
and
questions
the team
left
that you
and
are
right,
with,
like he did Candace.
like when you leave work or what you thinking about in your head, why does it matter what hole you enjoying? It's not right.
What the fuck?
It's not about what hole. It's not about what hole.
Like a weird.
It is.
It's about.
It's about the hole.
Yeah, I know Soldier Boy was making you a moderator because that's the only option I had. It didn't let me add you as another guest.
I mean, when they say I got the whole world in my hand, I got the whole world in my hand. I gotta be careful.
It's not about what hole. It's about who the hole is on. So stop acting dense.
Mm-hmm.
If I was acting dense, what does dense mean?
Wait, hold on. Before comment, move back, comment on.
Remember that song? You got the whole
only letting
world.
me. I can't do it, Soldier Boy. But Ray.J, let me ask you something.
Yes, Mrs. Betty.
She said, put some respect on my name. Hey, listen, you don't have to be here. No trolls allowed. If my content bothers you, if my opinion offends you, if my voice bothers you, there's other lives, there's other channels. You don't gotta be here. Shout out to, all the day ones, all the old and new subscribers, yo. Shout out to those that been rocking out with a shorty, those that have, respectful conversations. If you're not gonna be respectful, keep it moving. Cause I will ban you. Listen, you can watch, but you don't gotta chat. Take your disrespectful ass somewhere where, there's panels out here that they're like having people up there that like getting disrespected. Since you want to be disrespected, you can go over there. I think they got a whole sector called the beef sector, right? One called the drama sector where people go over there and just, play scripts and shit, pretend like they're beefing, pretending like they don't like people. Y'all more than welcome to go hit all them other sectors like that. But over here, this is a positive motivational channel. We bring awareness to a lot of situations. We, have conversations about different topics. So if you can't keep it on what we're talking about, hey, I just banned you. See you later. I don't need the distraction or the disrespect. So
was you just fighting people in the club?
No, I was being a better person in the club, and I want to always be the better person, and I want to start practicing being an advocate for mentorship programs for entrepreneurs that's making money that's possibly might fall off the deep end. That if they were mentored correctly, and if we can put some seminars together.
Ray.J, but I will completely not only click on you before you finish your sentence, but I will block you. Okay.
Okay. So what
when
you want to know?
Question, it's to be answered. This is a court, sir.
Wow.
You came in.
You playing the shit out of Ray.J.
You've been trying to get my attention. Now you got it.
Yeah.
Were you just fighting in the club? Yes or no? I don't want.
No, we didn't have a fight. We had a big argument. All right, I was at the club.
And who started it?
This time, I think I got loud and got aggressive, but it was the third time it's happened. And so I felt like I needed to stand up for myself, even though I was talking shit and we was having a lot of crazy words. I was walking that way to avoid the issue. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happened. And it's unfortunate, but what's dope is that we all got on the phone. We talked for about 35 minutes.
You that don't care.
You don't care about the peace about it?
At what point?
I don't know. It seems like Ray.J is the only one that seems to say that there was peace after this argument with him and the Diddy's sons. I'm about to go look it up. I got the video saved up, but I don't know. If anybody does know, let a shorty know.
So you saying someone approached you, and this is the third time y'all been having this argument. What was y'all arguing about?
Comments that I was making on my show, on my news
you got
show.
a show?
I'm on the news now. I'm a news anchor.
OMG.
What?
I'm a news anchor. Yep, I'm on the news.
You know what the fuck to do with yourself, huh?
No, I'm having a good time.
You're not.
I am, Nikki. I'm not like
Good
what?
is a word you
I'm having a great time. I'm alive.
Amen.
You taught me that.
Yo.
You did.
She look like she about to smack the crap out of Ray.J. Oh, she on mute.
Wait, I'm losing you. Nikki, I'm losing you. Hello? 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 You there, Nikki? Oh, there you go. Okay, I can hear you like the little movement in the back.
Oh,
I thought I lost your sound.
I always loved you as an actor.
Dang, that's crazy. Suge just told me that 20 minutes ago.
Yo, I'm gonna pause this right here, man. This is crazy. We're at 3 hours, 30 minutes into this, yo. Let us shorty know what y'all think about the Ray.J situation. If you're not subbed up, make sure y'all are, because the shorty, you know, I don't schedule lives. I just pop up, right? If y'all enjoyed the stream, if y'all can, smash that like button for a shorty, man. We will be doing part 2 to the Ray.J this live right here, Ray.J and Nicki Minaj interview. I also got the video of the comments that he made towards Diddy's son, and you know what was being said. That's why I said he's the only one saying that there was a resolution at the end. Hopefully there was, but it seems like that Diddy's sons ain't happy with Ray.J. So it is a lot going on. Like I said, the whole purpose of these lives is to bring awareness. I appreciate everybody that subs up, right? That comes, has conversations with a shorty, whether it's in the chat or on the panel, right? Those that, you know, are brave enough to speak on their stories and much more. I appreciate y'all. You know, if it wasn't for, you know, all the ones that have been rocking out with a shorty since day one, you know, the new and the old subscribers, a shorty wouldn't make it this far. So I appreciate y'all. And like I said, when things get a little better, we're gonna start bringing back the giveaways. We're gonna start doing the test your noggin and stuff like that. So let's see, you know, like I said, once a shorty get monetized, we're gonna start doing different things. But this right here, man, I feel as though that I'm not talking about the Ray.J. We're talking about the Menendez and the Vince McMahon story. I feel as though more people should be bringing awareness to, you know, sexual abuse cases. And I feel as though that when people talk on these type of topics or bring up these type of situations, that, you know, a lot of people need to mind what they say. Be careful, you know, take the time, do their research before they jump out the window, you know, because these topics, these situations get a little tricky sometimes, and they get real touchy. So instead of having arguments and debates, let's try to bring solutions to the table, you know, figure out these loopholes in the justice system and much more. Figure out how can we really help these, you know, the victims become surviving warriors, because a lot of victims can overcome this if they want to, right? There's the ones that choose not to, and it's hard to help those. My focus is on the ones that really do want the help, right? And it has to come within you to get any type of help, especially when you've been through this type of trauma. Like, I'm unfortunate that things like this happen. There's grown as women and men out here that look at little girls and little boys in a way that they shouldn't. They touch little boys and little girls in the way they shouldn't. And, you know, it's hard to help kids that have gone through these type of traumas and have grown up and, you know, have never really had any type of help. Hopefully, you know, those that catch the replay, leave their comments in the chat below. Let a shorty know what they think about the Menendez case, about, you know, the Vince McMahon case. And also let a shorty know what y'all think and y'all opinions about, you know, the Ray.J situation and what's going on. I mean, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to, you know, cover as much as I can, give my perspective and my opinion. I'm not doing nothing more and nothing less than that. Like, you know, like I said, hopefully, you know, we can have conversations that are respectful and have something good going, because at the end of the day, we're not here to bring nobody down. We're not here to bash nobody. We can agree to disagree and keep it pushing. So like I said, till next time, this y'all shorty Rachel. Hopefully all of you have a blessed and humble morning. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. I'm about to get up, continue cleaning, make breakfast, and do what I gotta do. And until next time, I'll see y'all. If I knew then what I know now, sometimes I wonder, would I be the same or would I be different? A shorty still believes in fairy tales and imagination that lasts forever. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. I look in the mirror, see a stranger staring back, lost in the world that's spinning off track. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I give up and let the darkness win? I see no change, just the same old game. Wake up in the morning, I ask myself, is life worth living, or should I blast myself? I see no change, just the same old pain, but I know deep down, I gotta break these chains. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can go back in time, tell my younger self it's gonna be fine. Embrace the challenges, let your light shine. You'll grow and learn, just give it time. Hey young me, listen up, don't be afraid. Life's a journey, mistakes will be made. Chase your dreams, don't let them fade. Believe in yourself, you'll make the grade. Don't stress about what others say. Stay true to yourself every day. Love deeply, laugh often. Don't delay, cause in the end, it's how you play. Be kind to others along the way. Spread love and positivity each day. Don't worry about what they may say, cause your uniqueness is here to stay. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can meet my younger self, I tell her not to be afraid, that courage will be her wealth and bravery will never fade. Don't fear the challenges ahead, for you'll face them head on. Your inner strength will dawn. You'll grow up to be a warrior, standing tall, unafraid and strong. A parent, a role model, and inspired, fighting for what's right all along. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Looking back on all the roads I've traveled, regrets and lessons learned along the way, but still holding on to hope and faith that with God's grace, a brighter day will come our way. I see no change at all. I'm stuck in this cycle, feeling so small. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I just end it all with a final kiss? I try to stay strong, but it's getting harder each day. The pain and the struggle won't seem to go away. I'm tired of the lies, tired of the deceit. I see no change, just defeat after defeat. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. Deep down I know I must fight, I won't let the darkness consume me. I'll shine my light, I'll rise above the pain, I'll break free from these chains. I'll find my purpose and I'll make a change. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Sometimes in life we make so many mistakes, and we think that when we fall, we're not able to get up. We listen to those that, talk in our ear, tell us that they, are there for us. And at the end of the day, what's crazy? A friend ain't nothing but $1 in your pocket. Family is what you make of it. Family is not who you're born into. Alright? So we need to pick ourselves up and do what we gotta do. Life is not for you to sit around and wait for Superman to come save you.